amazing. Rocky, I want to see you.
I really don't think they flew 90 billion light years to start a fight.
Sunset chill days so long gone, can't bring them back, no magic wand. Counting white cotton clouds, painted on the blue sky's crowd. And yet somehow that way is fake, with eternal hopeful flair. Pineapple pizza, Hawaiian ice creams, yeah. Can't wait to be a free days of you and me. I'm sailing. I'm sailing. I just can't wait for free days of you and me.
He's been cited by Forbes, The Wall Street Journal, Benny Johnson, Timcast, Dr. Jordan Peterson, and even the U.S. government.
But soon they'll wake up to see the summer sizzles in me.
We're doomed. Will this never end?
Dire wolves back and so are you.
Oh yeah,
Belvedere flying over the moon.
oh yeah.
And everyone's singing just the right tune. Maestro blasting on the jazz flute.
We are all participating in mandatory fun activities.
Jelly bean bonus, every flavor in the bag. Super movie star, but first gotta join SAG.
Keep our eyes open.
Wunderkind, super friend, where are you? Get a search warrant for the near clear blue.
It's scooping time.
And can't you believe that? We've been waiting on you, can't you see that? Put away the bad things they said to you.
You are a sad, strange little man. You have my
After all, just have to call and say you're some kind of
Because you are the special.
epic. Epic, epic, yeah, that's what you do. I'm talking about epic, epic, it's all you know how to do.
You wake up blue to
Epic, epic, it's on repeat for you. Oh, epic, epic, epic. Epic.
Jonas is back. Had to bring him back. Back in the groove. Jonas is back. He's back. He's back. He's back. Oh, let him shine. Jonas is back. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Had to bring him back. Jonas is back. He's back. He's back. He's back. Oh, let him shine. Little baby born on the brownstone steps. Harlem hit him with the right kind of death. No matter in the world where he goes away, can't take the soul out of his sway. Jonas is back, had to bring him back, had to bring him back, back in the groove. Jonas is back, he's back, he's back, he's back. Oh, let him shine. Jonas is back, yeah, yeah, yeah. Had to bring him back. Jonas is back, he's back, he's back, he's back. Oh, let him shine. Pipes made for radio, pro show will do. Breaking down the Hollywoods, break it down anew. Not a single day does our very own forget. Hudson River flow is where his path was set. Jonas is back, had to bring him back, had to bring him back, back in the groove. Jonas is back, he's back, he's back, he's back. Oh, let him shine. Jonas is back, yeah, yeah, yeah. Had to bring him back. Jonas is back, he's back, he's back, he's back. Oh, let him shine. Morgan Freeman was born in Memphis. Diana from Detroit.
Campbell is back, ladies and gentlemen, and we are here to bring you the latest and greatest out of entertainment. We're ready to go in a way that even the Holly Weirds, well, they just can't turn away. Jonas, they got to be here. How you doing, buddy? How you doing, pal?
I'm doing well. I saw that. They said I'm uber white. I have to agree with them. I'm technically transparent.
Well, minus the translucence, Jonas, you're a stunning and brave individual for being here, and
I'm a
we can all see right through what you're trying to do right now.
Exactly, my cracker.
Yeah. All right. Well, folks, it's a big day, and we're covering stuff that typically we don't so often do. We're going to talk about Lego sets today, Jonas. You ready for that one?
Yeah. I love to talk about Legos. Is it fun? We're just talking about the latest builds and those new bricks that play a lot of sounds that have nothing to do with imagination. And we're talking about that Ministerious set?
Sure.
Or are we talking about a mass conspiracy that may be infiltrating a Utah police department and maybe $200,000 worth of Legos being maybe stolen quietly through some corporate shenanigans? Is it that one?
Multi-state, across state lines, Lego thievery as is alleged. You got corruption, police departments all conspiring, and a crazy YouTuber wearing a Speedo. Sounds like the kind of thing we just want to go to right here, Jonas. I mean, you A-okay with that?
Yeah, I think we should go there.
Let's go there. Let's go there. But Jonas, before we do, how about we hit a few super chats? Can we do that?
Yes, absolutely, because we do have those. First of all, play Xenosaga for $5. Amazon canceled the new Stargate series that was in development because the writers wanted to honor the original and not go down the woke path. Yeah, if they do Stargate at this point, it will not be any involvement from the original creators of the what was it, like 20 seasons of Stargate and its spin-offs. It was a great show. I mean, I'm not going to say that it changed the world here, but that was some solid sci-fi.
Yeah, better than Rings of Power, eh? I know that's not sci-fi, but if I had to pick which one I would fund, I can tell you they didn't pick the one I would go with.
I guess they weren't killing Daniel Jackson and bringing him back from the dead enough. Jeremiah Hembry gifted 5 WDW Pro memberships. Thank you very much, Jeremiah.
Jeremiah, it's so great to see you out there. Appreciate the gifted memberships, and it's always a good time, folks, when we get started this kind of a way. Jeremiah, thank you for starting the party the right way.
Please, sir, may I have more pro memberships?
What?
God bless us, everyone!
Truly.
Troy is accusing me of being a ginger. That's interesting. I mean, I'll make all the racial jokes I want, but I'm not Irish. Mark Fields for $2. Gojira -0. Can't wait for the film.
Listen, I am.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Mark is also saying positive vibes to you all. Have a beautiful day.
And you too, Mark. My most anticipated film of the year is Godzilla -0, not 1. And I may be watching the first one before we go to the this one. And it looks to me like the kaiju are going to fight alongside the Statue of Liberty, Jonas. Am I seeing that right in the previews?
The Statue of Liberty is coming to life. Is this a Ghostbusters 2 kind of thing?
Your love lifts me higher than I've ever been lifted before.
Funny.
Thank you, Jonas.
You know, just to go back to the movie of the week here, who are you going to call? He-Man. Flying blind on a rocket cycle for $2. Sorry. Good day, all.
Good day to you, Flying Blind. Hope you're having a good one.
Me too. Kalioth for $5. Jonas is back talking smack and not using bricks and minifigs. Talking smack and not using, as in using smack? Kids, children, stay away from the smack.
That's right. Stay away from the smack in every way possible. All right, folks, we got a dandy of a panel, and I can't wait to bring them on. Jonas J. Campbell, would you do me the honors by first shocking the conscience of the moms and dads across America, Canada, Mexico, and everywhere else we might be seen today, including across the pond, by welcoming in a Star Wars star. And I mean this, folks. Jonas, we have someone waiting in the wings who, I dare say, was in a Star Wars production that had better viewership than The Acolyte, without even trying. More talent in his pinky, Jonas, than the likes of, just everybody who worked on the High Republic. Who do we got, Jonas? Who's our Star Wars star today?
We're bringing him in here. He is a person that has been a star of film and television. He's a frantic comedian. And also, I am struggling to remember the name of his character in the show that he played.
He'll tell you.
Yeah. Please welcome a guy who kind of looks like John Lithgow if you squint, Paul Chatto.
Hey, Paul! Of course he can. Of course he can.
I can do an Italian accent, and I can be on what was that movie? He was Professor. What was his name? Emilio Lizardo. That's what I can do. Yes.
I mean, just think you're perfectly placed here. That if you get the right glasses, you could do some Dumbledore up in this biz.
I could.
So
I could. Except my problem is I like J.K. Rowling. So
I now desperately want to go travel the world with Paul and just see what kind of trouble we can get into. Just moving around places. Yeah.
I'm going to bring this up briefly, just so we can explain what's share screen. Yes, I want to share the screen.
Share the screen, Paul.
Yes.
What do you got?
Allow cancel. No, it's asking me to reboot. I updated my OS and now it wants to authenticate. Anyway, yes, I was Paplu in
Paplu. That was it.
The Star Wars cartoon.
How do we spell Paplu?
Paploo.
That's in the contract. All right, hang on. Let's get Paplu in here.
And I got to do such Shakespearean lines like "Whoa, whoa, wow, wow."
That's pretty good.
I was constantly falling out of trees. And there was there it is. No, that's not my cartoon character.
Paplu. Let's see if we can get a cartoon picture of Paplu. There's not a lot on Paplu.
You'll find it if you do a search on the interwebs. You'll find it. There's one there.
We'll get it in just a minute. We'll get it.
And my understanding is I got it because when I did the audition, I stayed in character as I ripped on Lucas in kind of a star in kind of a Toy Story-esque outtakes. There it is.
Here's Paul. Paul in his younger days. You're an angry Ewok.
The sack.
Beautiful.
Paul, what's your favorite line as Paplu?
I think I only ever said, "Hey, let's play Drop the Sack."
Is that a euphemism, Paul?
Completely different when you hit 70.
That's right. Jonas, who else do we have out there who might join us in our illustrious panel of the day?
We actually have quite the international crew today. Joining us recently back from the land of the rising sun, Kara Lynn coming back to the channel. Hey, Kara.
Hello. It's good to be back.
I believe she goes as Kara-san now, Jonas.
Yes.
Is it san when it's a lady?
No,
probably not.
No, it's not. That's man.
Kara, what is the proper way to address you now that you have spent time with the samurai?
Oh gosh, I mean just normal.
Okay.
I did not. I mean, I didn't learn that much while I was there.
Did you happen
the food?
I was too busy with all the food.
Kara,
did you happen to
we were
murder
in
a
Japan
samurai and then hang
We
out
were.
with the head samurai in the village and then steal the armor or take the armor and then marry someone from the village and then become the last samurai?
I don't know.
I didn't.
That was
really
complicated.
I did
understand
go
the
to the
movie.
Samurai and Ninja Museum in Kyoto. Where were you at in Japan, Paul?
Everywhere. We really traveled a lot for about 17 days, up and down. I mean, we saw just an insane amount and the bullet train, we were on that. I mean, it's an amazing country.
Mm-hmm.
I can't pronounce the names of the cities that I really, really like. But again, how each prefecture has its own rice style, for instance. And, a prefecture that is known for its peaches, it's not duplicated in other parts of Japan. And we went to a sake place in Kyoto, and I said, "Do you make enough to supply all of Japan?" And he said, "No." So, I mean, you have these micro industries and farming within Japan that other parts of Japan don't get. Like, it's wild.
And you see rice fields everywhere.
Yeah.
Like if you're on a
Yeah.
train anywhere outside of like the main city, like there's rice. Like that's all you see is just rice fields.
So, what was your favorite thing?
Ooh, I really enjoyed Osaka, and then we went up to Nara. And one of the most peaceful moments I had of the entire trip was in Nara, which is where you go, like a lot of people will know Nara as like the Nara deer. That's where the deer, like you go and feed the deer bow, or they'll attack you.
If you have snacks or pieces.
If you have snacks, they will pummel you to get the snacks. That from experience, because I am at eye level with the deer, so they did not find me threatening at all.
They will bow. If you bow to them, they'll bow back.
Yep.
Like a hippogriff. We do have one more person joining us. I'm not completely sure what country she's in right now, but I'm going to guess Mexico. Joining us from Mexico, or she could correct me in a moment, is the brilliant and talented Nat from Nat and the Guy.
Thank you so much. And yes, you're correct. Mexico, close to Mexico City, but yes.
Awesome.
There we go. I like the setup now. This is nice. Nat, welcome aboard. Happy to have you. And folks, it's time to get started right now. Super Chat goal for today is 50. And if we get those 50, we're going to do a special Q&A. Can't wait to do so. Today's a big day, of course. And I know many of you, Godzilla is coming for you. Leave Japan alone, Godzilla. Leave alone. Mount Fuji doesn't want any more of you.
I believe that Godzilla is protecting Japan now. I think they kind of switched it around in the end, didn't they?
Are you sure? Not in the Godzilla -1 movie, though.
In watching any of the MonsterVerse ones, they had to make him into the hero.
Eventually.
Well, yeah.
He's an anti-hero.
Well, something like that.
All right. Well, Jonas, before we talk about the Lego chaos out there, can we do a few more super chats, please?
Absolutely. First of all, we got Israel for $10. Hail Pro and Jonas. As much as losing the Stargate show was a bad move for Amazon, maybe it was for the best if Amazon made it. If Amazon made it for modern audiences, God bless. I actually think that there's a possibility they weren't making it for modern audiences, and that's probably why it got canned. This is a show that doesn't need to be that expensive, especially with modern technology. Richard Dean Anderson, I think they confirmed he wasn't coming back. Maybe that was because Richard Dean Anderson wants more money. I'm assuming he's still alive. I haven't kept up with him.
Yes, he is
these days. But Stargate is a long-running sci-fi series, and that should be making bank in the current streaming landscape. So, Alberta Not a Retro for $5 Canadian. Question: does the Orange Man actually have the ability to tell individual states they can't have Pride Month, or is that encroachment on the state? Did he say that they can't in any capacity that wasn't him like trolling the audience, like him supposedly making himself the headliner of the national state fair situation?
So I'm not aware of this. Now, I don't follow some of the political news as closely as I used to, simply because we're covering entertainment news so much. So the chat will have to tell us, has this happened? Is there a link that we can see? I can tell you that one of the later stories for today we may get to is the red, white, and blue sort of dividing now, and different states are doing Pride Month, different states are doing Nuclear Family Month, different states are doing Fidelity Month, and it's like, hey, you can pick where you want to vacate this June based on what it is we're celebrating, and that's kind of a new thing. So we might talk about that, but I don't know about President Trump, doing away with Pride Month or claiming he will, or whether that's a troll or whether that's a joke or whether it's real. I don't know. So chat, you tell us what's out there, and we'll try to find it.
And apologies, I had Canada on the brain from your currency and the flag. It's Albert, not Alberto. I'm lo siento. Kelioth for $5. May I pass along congratulations for your great interdimensional breakthrough? I am sure in the miserable annals of the earth you will be duly enshrined.
Hopefully in carbonite.
I wonder what the Backrooms version of Pro would look like. Just this gigantic blue-hatted, sunglassed creature.
And I'd really rather not see the annals of Earth.
No, that's a different background.
Where is that crevice?
Kaylee off for $2. Female equals Chan in Japan. Is that what 4chan is? Is it for women?
Kara-chan. See? No, it's not Jonas. No.
Yeah.
Albert, not a retro for $2 Canadian. Thumbs up.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. We are
folks.
Through the super chat, sir.
And can you tell me why we care about the capital city of Nigeria? Like, why are you guys going to be talking about it today? Is like some entertainment news there?
What's going on?
You brought up the capital city of Nigeria. What are we talking about?
I have to go Google the capital city of Nigeria in order to get this joke.
This is one of those where he knows that we don't know. There's no way. He's Mr. Jeopardy up there, sitting on. Alec up there knows he's got us in a bind. All right. Folks, it's time for the click and sip. Here we go. You click the like button. We all take a sip together. It's a fun time. First of all, though, Kara-chan. Kara-chan, what do you have for beverage?
A hot mocha latte.
Gosh, I was hoping it was green tea. I was going to keep the thing going if it was green tea. Nat, what do you got to drink?
Black tea, as black as my soul.
Hey!
Because I use 2 bags.
Shadow, what are we drinking?
I'm drinking Brazilian dark roast.
Brazilian dark roast from Beaver.
But with a Bucky cup.
Yes, Beaver. Jonas, what do you got?
I got visiting you guys.
Hey, fantastic.
I got water as clear as my soul for my skin.
Boy, Mr. Translucence today, and I've got a shaken ristretto. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. All together now. That's good stuff. Folks, we hope you click that like button for us. And it's time. Let's dive into the latest news. And we're starting off with a weird one. It's a strange one. It's one we love to talk about. It's Legos. And it's a lot of Legos, man. It's a lot.
See, that's what I'm asking. Why the capital of Nigeria?
That's Lagos.
Oh.
And we've got a big one today, folks, coming to you from Barstool Sports. Hundreds of thousands of dollars at stake, and YouTube perhaps bringing justice in one of the most bizarre ways we've ever seen. Nick Shirley? No. This guy is a whole different level of cray-cray. Robbie Fox writing it, lawsuits, arrests, swatting, and more inside the Lego Star Wars scandal rocking the world right now. And it really is. And you can see here, we could click on these. They would start videos. They would play them. But let's tell you about it. The Reckless Bin Lego story is the most outrageous case of police corruption I've ever seen.
What?
It is. It's
quite the headline.
The entire police department of American Fork, which I didn't know there was a city named Fork, but I congratulate you. I just want to know who it is that arrived there and said, we're going to take on the city of Spoon next door. It's a city of 30K, comprised and being used as a private militia for bricks and minifigs to harass and arrest plaintiffs. All right, what is bricks and minifigs? Well, it's a Lego group. Here, we'll read it to you. The bricks and minifigs Reckless Ben Lego Star Wars scandal is the biggest story in the nerd world right now, and one of the biggest stories on the internet, period. Jack Mack sent me an article about it the other day, and I had been seeing the headlines, but didn't really dive in too deep at that point. It seemed like it was gaining a lot of traction very quickly, though, so I decided to check out the videos on Reckless Ben's YouTube page, and I was captivated by the whole situation immediately. Here's the rundown. Brian Mansell's elderly father spent years building an absolutely enormous Star Wars Lego collection, reportedly worth $200,000. He contacts the Lego third-party resale chain Bricks and Minifigs about selling the collection when his father's health took a turn for the worse, and the family needed money to help. The collection is placed on consignment with a Bricks and Minifigs franchise in Salem, Kaiser, Oregon, where under the alleged agreement, the store can sell items and take a commission, but ownership remains with the Mansell family until individual items are sold, meaning they could get it back if they wanted to. Here's where the stuff starts. The owner of the Bricks and Minifigs store that Brian was working with allegedly reached out to corporate, let them know she was moving out of the country and wouldn't be able to run the store anymore, and they told her they had found a buyer to take it over, before sending someone to terminate their agreement and then literally kick her out of the store. They threatened to call the police if she didn't leave, wouldn't let her finish inventory. She brought up that Brian hadn't been paid for a number of sets yet, and they basically told her that's none of your business anymore, and that the consignment would be carried over.
Right.
This apparently is all on security footage.
On video, by the way. Yes.
Yeah, all on footage. Brian then reached out to a few people to get the word out when the Bricks and Minifigs ignored all contact from him, and eventually the story got to this guy, Reckless Ben, who may be a little bit on the cray-cray side. He's got 1 million subs on YouTube, but he's a different kind of fella. Ben goes to the store. Reckless Ben goes to the store. YouTuber, kind of like Nick Shirley, but not, well, a little bit more zany. Goes to not a Leering Center, but the store in Oregon where they sell the Legos, and says he's there to pick up his friend's sets for him, and it gets uncomfortable. The manager calls the cops on Ben, tells him to take it up with corporate, which he's already tried to do, yada, yada, yada. The bottom line is, this has now exploded, folks. You can go read everything that's happened here, and it is nuts. It is crazy. He's run a lottery. He's put up stores on the sidewalk outside like lemonade stands, trying to get the Legos back for these people. And what's wild is this is actually transmogrified into something now that is rising to the level of mass conspiracy police corruption, perhaps. So Marcus Pittman is covering this. Says, let's get these D-bags off his property. Oops, probably shouldn't have said that. More crazy Lego scandal body cam footage from the American Fork Police Department. I got to play this, and I'll tell you why this really actually matters a lot. And it really, really does. Here's some of the footage.
Congo. Hey, come here. Do you remember we were doing Hydra with the guy with the deagle? Huh? Remember when we did Hydra with the guy with the Desert Eagle? Yeah. This is his Airbnb. He's in my truck right now. Really? And that's so right. And I told people that. He was like, what the fuck? That's so funny. Detectives are going to have Orem come and look at these guys to see, because they have video surveillance of all their guys. So we'll keep them on ice until we can start stripping resources. But it sounds like the other shifts rolled in. They're starting to take calls.
Which is good.
Okay.
We'll make sure everything's cleared up.
It was great. And the fact that they were coming out when we were walking up. The main kid had his phone recording, so I shut it off. But
Let me point out what's going on here.
Please.
This is they're in an Airbnb while they're in the area. Ben Schneider, Reckless Ben, is, I believe, from Los Angeles, or that's his last known address. I think he's actually in Mexico at the moment. So maybe Nat, be on the lookout.
Can find him
if you've got any Legos.
Be on the lookout.
So they're staying in this Airbnb, and while they're in the Airbnb, they get swatted. Because they said, oh well, somebody said you actually had the stolen Legos at your house. These Legos that have absconded into I don't know where. And they're also saying that they've heard reports that the Legos are just at one of their facilities. So they raid the house. They handcuff all of these. I'll say kids. They're young men. And I think maybe some process server that got tied up in all of this was there at the moment because she wasn't allowed to serve a warrant. This is in addition to, like, they searched his vehicle for 3 hours because someone accused them of having drugs in the vehicle. They drug tested. All the people found nothing on them. There's just there's this level of, there's this disagreement with the Lego company here. Not the Lego company, but this company that does franchises that buy, sell, and trade Legos. But then there's this absolutely bizarre situation where the police department believes every word that Bricks and Minifigs says and believes absolutely none of this. So there's no moment in which they say you need to settle this by a mediator. Every single time one of these things happens, it goes brutally in favor of Bricks and Minifigs, and there's a lot of police intervention to the point where it looks like intimidation by the police force, as if, I don't know if they got nothing to do. I don't know if this is just something where, somebody's up for re-election and Bricks and Minifigs is going to be the biggest donor to somebody's a police ball or something. I don't know. But this video keeps coming out. They originally requested body cam footage of all of the officers during these arrests, and everything was redacted. They even challenged the lady who did the redacting of the footage. Says, no, we don't take things out just because it's unfavorable to our things. It's to protect And as well, the unredacted footage is now out there, and they're literally just they're working with the other people to try to come up with charges to use against Ben Schneider and his crew.
So let me bring this home as to why it matters, because, you know, we would not cover here if there was some sort of Beanie Baby scandal. We just don't do this kind of stuff. But here's the problem. Here's what's so amazing is that this story, which is weird and bizarre, a YouTuber, the new media descends down into this bizarre situation, and everybody in power, the police, the city, the people redacting the stuff, they apparently believed that they could just intimidate and shove, you know, allegedly, and that has backfired tremendously, and it's showing off the power of the internet, where this story about Legos that would, you know, normally not rise to this level, because of the unbelievable response to it and the belief that they were so much bigger than a silly YouTuber, they're finding out otherwise. I want to play this video, and then I'll get the panel's thoughts on all of this, the $200,000 that the family has lost in Legos, which really we can kind of translate it over to $200,000 of health care and assistance for an elderly man that's not being, you know, paid back. But because it's Legos, well, here we are. But here we have the police in one of these cities. I think this is actually, we're going to switch to a different city. I think this is Oregon now, or Utah, whichever the case may be, where the police talk directly to the CEO of the company, and they do the bidding of the CEO. Here we go.
Again, this is Ammon.
CEO is on the phone, by the way.
Corporate office.
Who's the CEO?
Oh, hi. So what's happened is we had a former franchisee that entered into an invalid consignment agreement with a completely separate person. That person sold their Lego sets and didn't pay the person that they entered. And this has nothing to do with Mr. Schneider. Mr. Schneider is just a YouTuber that got a hold of the story and then went to this guy and said, hey, if I can harass these guys and if I can do some stuff and get some money out of them, will you pay me some of that money? And that's what they're trying to do.
This is conjecture, by the way.
The individual who actually owes the money.
But telling the police this about the YouTuber who's there trying to, one would suppose, bring justice for this, but also get a lot of views. But yes, maybe conjecturing to the police to get them to take an action because they believe this is true.
Also, the consignment agreement is valid, it sounds like. So
right.
They were one of our franchisees. They were terminated as a franchisee for violating all sorts of rules. They then fled to Europe somewhere. And so we've been trying to deal with this situation. We've been trying to help the person up in Oregon, but unless, because we found out later that they've been all working together to try and force some money out of us. So we've had our attorneys working on it. We've been in contact with the Marion County Sheriff's Department, the Marion County District Attorney, the Kaiser, and this is all up in Oregon. And then they started flying down here, coming to our corporate offices, and now they're heading to our staff and other individuals' personal residences to just harass and continue to try and extort money out of them. And so there's a...
So let me just... Maybe we'll come back to this in a second, but I just want to say... So the claim is because the poor elderly man can't get paid the $200,000 he's owed, the way the CEO handles this is to tell the police that there's a conspiracy extortion attempt being driven by the YouTuber. Jonas, that doesn't seem to be true, right?
Right. And you know, I get it that a YouTube video investigation doesn't have the same level as a court filing, but it seems like this guy is using the entertainment aspect, say more than a Nick Shirley would, in doing an investigation. So there's a lot of, let me do this in the most hilarious way possible instead of, okay, well, we're just trying to expose you. But also it really feels like, and I'm using the word feel instead of allegedly, it really feels like they've taken these Legos and they maybe kind of took the store with a little bit more force than they should have, and they're refusing to pay out. I don't know that there's 200,000 due at this point. It may be more like 5,000, but their absolute refusal and the posturing that they've done to say, well, you're going to have to sue us to get them. And it seemed like they were trying to bait them into a lawsuit because they knew that would be a massive expenditure for this guy who's trying to pay his father's medical expenses, his aging father's medical expenses. So it just, it's just disappointing to see people do business that way. And then on top of it, you have this. I don't think they could have counted on the exposure of the police department in American Forks, making them all look like if Barney Fife was trying to do The Sopranos.
Well, more like if Barney Fife was in the mafia. Nat, let me go to you. I think part of what we're learning right now is that there are some really corrupt places all over the world, of course, but there's some small towns in small town USA, and when YouTube descends upon them, they don't know what to do now. And I am loving this new era of body cams and cell phones everywhere. And when a YouTuber comes down and just starts a little parody lemonade stand, they can't handle it. And they go into, bully mode, and that is just Barbara Streisanding them. So Nat, is this more than just a little Lego story? Do you think that we're reaching a point now where every small corrupt town has to say, whoa, we don't want to be put out there like this Fork town?
Or maybe they just should stop doing corruption. But within small microcosms, it's a lot easier, I think, to be able to hide those kinds of things because everybody knows each other. So you don't want to get in trouble with the neighbor instead of when it becomes a wider thing or when it's a bigger city. I think it's easier to hide it. Coming from Mexico City, I would know. But also with the YouTube thing, I was thinking as you were going over the story, it's interesting how in certain places, YouTube still doesn't seem big. Or like if you say, oh, I do YouTube, then it seems like people think, oh, a few of her mom watches her and nobody else. And like, they're just doing it as a hobby. And we're still kind of going through the process of legitimizing, in a way, YouTube, but with things like Nick Shirley, but also, for example, like it or not, what happened there, but with Britney Spears, all that campaign basically took form and shape online. I was just going over a few of the details the other day, looking at the history of how it happened, and when it was a lot to do with YouTube and other legal cases as well. So I think it's being taken not as seriously when it does have an impact and an effect, and it also, I think, helps people feel like they're participating and doing something themselves as well, because it's still a smaller social media platform, but it's the biggest one.
That is a phenomenal point. Paul, I want to hand that to you because I bet you that these little towns would respond differently if the local news channel showed up, or maybe not that, because maybe they have control of that, but maybe if a neighboring town's journalist showed up, they would act differently than if the YouTuber with 1 million subs shows up. But the problem is that the YouTuber with 1 million subs is way more powerful than a little, local investigator. And Paul, I'll give you another example of this. We just found this out. I did not know until we did the research. Paul, you're familiar with FNT, Friday Night Tights over on Nerdrotic.
Vaguely.
Yeah. But
I don't like associating with them.
So, Paul, we found out that in the demo, right? So the 25 to 55 demo, that Friday Night Tights is pulling a larger number of viewers than Fox News in primetime. Wow. Fox News in primetime is pulling, it was like 205,000 people on average, and FNT and their episodes are pulling about 215 in the demo. So, Paul, I don't think people have caught up to, if the YouTuber with 1 million subs shows up to your small town to do something, it's a big deal. And I don't think they understood that. I think that's what part of the undercurrent of this story should be.
Well, it's not just an individual with a large following. If you latch onto a story, you know very well that even a 1,000 subscriber YouTuber can get hundreds of thousands of views.
Right.
And it's really about initiative, not the number of subscribers you have. And depending on the story, as we all know, it can be lightning in a bottle.
It really, really can. Paul, when do you think we're going to get to the point where people recognize YouTube as the dominant force that it is? I mean, YouTube is bigger than Disney Plus. It's bigger than Netflix. In fact, it's way, way bigger. And I don't think people have caught on. I don't think people view, Dude Perfect and Mr. Beast and All In Podcast and all this stuff that's really taking off on YouTube. I don't think they view it in the same way that they would movie stars and celebrities. And maybe they shouldn't. I don't know. What do you think about that? That people are misconstruing where we are as a society and where the true engine of our culture might be?
Well, my view on that is that YouTube has been become kind of ubiquitous and almost like water. I don't think people think of it as special anymore, if at all. I read a statistic that 60% of YouTube viewers are watching it on their large screens now.
Sure.
They're watching it like TV.
Yep.
I think when I turn on YouTube compared to Netflix or any of the streaming services, we are generally finding more things of interest on YouTube.
By far, I think.
It's one of those serendipity engines. And so you can find an archaeology show that my wife and I really, really enjoy. So I think we're just at the beginning of YouTube being a source of legitimate news.
And that's really saying something if we're just at the beginning, because it's already this powerful.
Correct.
Yeah.
But
Now, I have a question for you guys.
It's too bad Nick Shirley was not more articulate as an individual. He stumbles way too much, and he's very difficult to listen to. But
he's also very young. He's also very young.
And
what, 20,
that's where
21?
Yeah.
I want to go with this is
Go,
do you
please.
feel like people would take these YouTube like journalists more seriously if they were older, or if they're only writing them off because they're younger?
Well, this is a funny thing. If you haven't seen the videos that are on Reckless Ben's channel, there is so much about what he's doing that is put together with entertainment and I'll say more of a Mr. Beast style. There's probably within YouTube that's not a clear enough distinction, but he gets a small legal victory or something that he portrays as a legal victory, and he goes up to quote unquote claim the Legos, and he shows up and he's created his own logo for their store, and he's wearing custom underwear, and that's about it. That has their parody logo on it to go pick up the Legos. So
look at his name.
Before we
Reckless Ben.
It's really a perfect name for him. So
he's getting, by the way, Jonas, he's getting millions of views.
Well, this is right now the biggest story on X, which I would assume between YouTube and X and the amount of views that he's getting on. I think the part one is maybe 2 hours long. It's a very long video, and then part two is 40, 50 minutes. He knows he's got a part three coming, and if this goes to court, if this actually goes to court, then this is going to be something that he'll be able to make content off of it for years. So the financial incentive for him is also going to be the biggest tool that these people use against him. But the fact that he's doing this in a way where he's trying to be mischievous, and he's really going for the court of public opinion more than actual court, I think that's probably the weakness here. But if everything that he's saying is true, or even let's say 75% accounting for entertainment purposes, I think that this company is destroyed by this YouTuber coming in and inciting everyone against them with what seems like are true claims.
So I got some questions. Because I might be as stupid as the audience out there. Did the family hand over all the Lego packages to Bricks and Figs?
One of the franchisees, there was a consignment agreement for $200,000 worth of Legos. There was, I think what probably happened is all of those or a large portion of those were sold at a time when there were a bunch of bills due, or who cares what they spent it on, but they spent all of that money with the intention of paying that person later. And then when the franchise changed hands, probably for financial reasons, not because they kicked them out of the franchise program or whatever, Bricks and Minifigs corporate said, "Oh, well, we're taking over the consignment agreement." By the way, the consignment agreements are totally kosher as far as all that's concerned.
So money did not flow to the original owners of the packages that were provided to Bricks and Minifigs. By the way, I looked up what the heck that meant. And I am very disappointed that neither of you told the audience just exactly what Bricks and Minifigs means. Do you want me to explain it?
Paul, is it possible to do so in a way that will stay on YouTube?
I will.
Okay. Go for
Bricks are the brick parts of Lego that we are very familiar with, and mini figures. So minifigs is the contraction of the guys, you know.
I was hoping it was a reference to Lincoln Logs. I think there needs to be a resurgence in the Lincoln Logs.
So it's apparently the figures are just as important as the bricks in the world of Lego. So
there you go.
I needed to know.
So, Kara, I'd like to go
to business in it. There's a franchise in Winnipeg. Like, for crying out loud, there's a business.
You gotta go.
Legos are probably pound per pound worth more than gold in some.
I have
instances. It's ridiculous.
60-year-old Legos from original sets in my basement.
Hey, Paul, would you like to be friends forever?
Yeah. If there's Star Wars on any of them, then you've probably got something
they're
that's
just
worth something.
the old sets, right?
So that's what I want to go to Kara with, though. Kara, this story goes nowhere. Unfortunately, if it's just an elderly man who gets ripped off by a company. That happens all the time, and it goes into litigation and, the lawsuits. You get the idea. But that doesn't arrive on YouTube. What made this take off, I think, like wildfire is you have so many pop culture, circles of interest that play around with this and grow it into a huge thing. So it's Lego, it's Star Wars, right?
Swatting.
And then, right, exactly. And Paul, also the Midwest safety stuff, like the law enforcement YouTube channels are exploding. So the body cam footage is, that's YouTube gold. All this stuff comes together. There are a lot of people out there who need big YouTubers to come rolling into town, it seems like. It seems like that some folks out there have gotten comfortable with bullying and not being kind. Kara, I think this could turn into something bigger than Legos, and I hope it does.
I hope so too. I mean, we're in the age of accountability whenever it comes to the internet. And you're seeing it not just on usually what you're seeing is like, oh, they said this on the internet, whatever years ago, but now you're actually seeing it like people are holding others accountable, or at least calling people on their crap in real life as well. And I think that's what a lot of these YouTuber journalists are doing, is they're having the guts to go and be like, hey, what you're doing is wrong. What are you going to do to fix this? And if you don't fix this, we're going to make a stink about it.
Right. You're going to become a star in a way that you never thought you're going to be. I mean, for the people out there who are acting poorly, and we don't know if everybody is in these videos, but for the people who are acting poorly, you're going to be seen by millions of people now. And that changes behavior. So we shall see. It may be the end of some of these businesses after this, and the towns are going to be under all kinds of scrutiny. So and who could have ever foreseen?
So who swatted the YouTuber?
Jonas, do we know that one yet? On who tried that one?
There's this gets complicated. There's an accusation out there. Again, I'm trying to provide some cover here, that people associated with Bricks and Minifigs have been calling as these people, or pretending to be Ben Schneider and the people that work with him, and making threats and things like that. And I think that there's been an accusation from those people that there were drugs in the vehicle.
Oh,
of course, that has not borne out, because if there were, no, I don't know, they didn't find anything. So, and they tested negative if they did a drug test. That would be all over the news right now if he actually did have drugs in his system.
But that's not got nothing to do with the main story. And I have to say, I am a complete addict to body cam video.
Me too, Paul. What's your fave? What's your go-to?
Oh, I like the women who are the sovereign citizens.
Female sovereign citizens.
Yeah, those are my favorite, where they have plates that are reproduced on a Xerox machine, stuck on the back of their car, and they go, what I do, and there's 5-10 minutes of what I do, and the cop going, I'm going to break the window, I'm going to break the window, I'm going to break the window. Guess
what? The window always breaks, ladies and gentlemen. The window always breaks. All right, Jonas J. Campbell, we've got superstars out there. They have a lot to say. Let's see what the word is on Pro Street today.
All right. Albert, not a retro, back again for $5 Canadian. Google check. Trump didn't say that. So D-Day Cobra can still have his celebration. Jeremy streams for like 36 hours in a 24-hour period, so I really can't keep track of what Jeremy says. So
I'll tell you this. Here's what I said yesterday on some of this Trump stuff. So ABC News says President Trump is floating the possibility of keeping the UFC arena on the White House South Lawn, built for a series of fights on his birthday and Flag Day, permanently. So ABC News is running that, and you see what I say. They fall for it every single time. They fall for it every single time.
Right. He's a man with a laser pointer, and the media are a bunch of cats. Archer Merchant for $2. YouTube inadvertently prevents mainstream media / Hollywood from lying. Well, are you okay, Paul?
I saw a laser pointer.
Oh, I with the earth shaking, I thought I had reached a new level of comedy. You're right, Archer Merchant. Thomas Watt for $5. It's the Mormon Mafia. I'm going to say mafia, covering up to a high donor to the Mormon cult. I'm not really going to get into that. I think it's also a local businessman.
So I saw this was an aspect of the story, and I thought, nope.
Yep, not going to touch that one.
They watch too much Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Is that about a cult aspect? I just assumed that was
I really want
a reality
maybe
show.
that beautiful edifice that they've got in Mormon land is actually made of Lego.
I really want the Amish involved as well. Like the Amish are actually turfed out on one side, the Mormons on the other, and it's all about those Legos.
We don't like the Amish up here in Canada because they run puppy mills.
What?
I'm not joking.
Jonas, can you schedule a trip for Canada somewhere, wherever it is that Paul is, so we can pull a reckless Ben on the puppy farms of the Amish?
I'm just going to point out one of the few times that I've been around Pro. He parked his Cybertruck right next to an Amish buggy, and that was a wonderful sight.
and then they all wanted to know about it, right? And I said it's a refrigerator on wheels.
And you can't even say, well, it's like PlayStation 1 level polygons, because they wouldn't know what that is either.
And you know what would have been really cute if you were still in the Cybertruck. And,
what's that?
And you rolled down the window to the guy in the beard driving the cart and going, which is drag race parlance for all you folks.
What was great is the guy walked up and said, "So I hear they can drive themselves." I said, "Just like your horse."
Exactly. Tap it on the bum,
perfect.
and it goes home.
Yep. The first Dragon Queen for $5. Sorry, I'm late. An epic decision was made by me. Meantime, I have to watch the staring contest between Jonas and a troll. Hugs for all. Who all is involved in this Wilton's dad bit? I'm just you can keep going with it. I'm hoping it stumbles into something funny.
Hashtag Steve was wrong.
Yep. Andy T. Monahan for $2. By the way, Steve finally does the video about him being right, and he leaves in all the patter that has nothing to do with him being right in the start of the video.
Yeah.
Yeah. Andy T. Monahan for £2, not to mention all their religious connections.
Let me repeat what I thought when I saw that part of the story and I decided how we were going to go with it. Nope.
Teddy D gifted 20 WDW Pro memberships. That's a lot.
That's right. Today he's 20D. Jonas, 20D.
Oh, here we go. It's time to party. It's time to live it up.
Perfect. Wahoo!
And a psychotic mongoose, perhaps the psychotic mongoose, gifted 1 WDW Pro membership.
Thank you, Psychotic Mongoose. We appreciate that so much. And for those out there who are wondering, Pro, why are you driving a giant fridge around? Why are you driving a giant PlayStation 1 vehicle? I think I may be the only person in the world driving a Cybertruck for practical reasons, Jonas. We have a Cybertruck because it comes with the electrical wiring of a home or office which means if we have to do mobiles, if we have to do a mobile report or come to you live from a mobile location, the Cybertruck is already wired to be able to do that, and we don't have to invest in all the other crazy stuff.
He's got a Ninja coffee maker in there, and that's the only reason he has it. He's never recorded a live in there. It's always for extra coffee.
Jonas, I told you to never bring up the Ninja coffee maker. That was the one secret thing about our operations. It seems frivolous.
You need to upgrade to a Philips.
A Philips?
That's what I have. I have a Philips espresso machine that does it all.
You know, if you get him going down a coffee rabbit hole, he will not stop. So
let's talk. Let's talk. I'm interested in the Philips. All right, Jonas, I'm also interested in what's going on out there in Hollyweird. And it turns out the Acolyte was canceled for a reason some people didn't know. We talked about it on the Patreon, but we're going to bring it out today even more. Indeed. First, we'll get the 199. It's from Where's My Zootopia 3? Breaking. Ice Age 6 trailer released. And I'll tell you this, we would love to go watch Sid and the gang, but unfortunately, every time we play a trailer around here, Disney dings us. So we may do some clips of it later, but we can't play the whole thing. They don't want us to show you trailers here and promote their product.
When they bring back Blue Sky Studios, I'll be interested in that again. They bought Blue Sky Studios for the IP, and they fired everyone associated with it. So,
ouch.
But they're
ouch
still
indeed.
Totally fine using all of their all of the things that they worked hard to create. So there you go. Thanks, Disney.
Folks, we're finding out why The Acolyte got no season 2 because, well, you all know it's true. Disney doesn't care about ratings. They'll put bad stuff out there over and over again. But in this case, maybe it's another indication that the sequel trilogy truly is being phased out of Disney canon. From comicbook.com, we've got this from Chris Agar, creator of Star Wars canceled series, reveals season 2 plans. The Acolyte premiered in 2024. It was one of the more fascinating, well, that's an F word that you could apply to it that I wouldn't, Star Wars projects to be released under Disney, telling a story set around 100 years before the events of The Phantom Menace. The show marked the first time Lucasfilm explored the High Republic era on screen, and dare I say, folks, it might be the last time indeed. The Acolyte had the potential to pave a new way forward for the franchise, following an entirely new cast of characters while still finding room for connections that made sense, like Yoda and Plagueis. Sadly, it wasn't meant to be. The Acolyte was canceled after just one season, but showrunner Leslie Headland remains optimistic it could return at some point. All of this is to say, audiences hate it, nobody wants to watch it. The most views it got was from people rubbernecking to see how bad it could be, and thus it's gone. But speaking with Empire, Leslie Headland, the former personal assistant to one Harvey Weinstein, shared that she would love to make season 2. Quote, I would still want to do it, absolutely. As more people discover it. Yes, sure they do. As more people discover it, I think people may want to see some form of the story come back. She also shed light on the material season 2 would have tackled, including the stranger's connections to Venestra Rua. I thought her name was Darth Nepotism. And Darth Plagueis, the Watcher, as well as other sequel established things. Whoa. As well as other sequel established things. It seems like The Acolyte Season 2 was designed to tie into the sequel trilogy. Now, I can't imagine a better train wreck than The Acolyte and the sequel trilogy coming together. And really and truly now, I want this. I want this so badly, I'm going to start a petition myself. We need Acolyte Season 2 with sequel trilogy tie-ins. We need this, Disney. Please. I'm begging you. I could use another garage. Elsewhere in the interview, Headland recalled reactions she's heard from fans. This is not really true. These are people that she said she went out to dinner with. Quote, I speak with people who are really big fans and were disappointed in the cancellation. I went to a play last night and somebody was like, I just have to tell you that I loved it. Which, how often do you go to something and people come up to you and say, I hate what you do? It's not the typical human nature. The guy I saw last night loved the additional lore in the fight sequences. Another woman loved the allegory for a religious experience. Somebody else really loved the way the Jedi were portrayed. Everybody comes up to Leslie and says, we love the things you do. Her BFFs tell her the truth every single time. We've still got some articles out there pushing for this. Gizmodo, Jermaine Lucier. Hey, Dave Filoni. Leslie Headland is still down for the Acolyte season 2. You wanna? But I'm telling you, folks, they're not gonna. And the reason is, not only did the Acolyte destroy itself, not only was Leslie Headland sent off sailing, not only was this the final act of Kathleen Kennedy when they said enough is enough, the High Republic that it's based on is dead. And I can tell you that because we searched far and wide to find anything still happening with the High Republic. And what do we find? Star Wars News Net covered this in May, reviewing the High Republic Adventures Pathfinders #2. And if you look here, it's really hard to see. Let me see if I can zoom in on this. Everybody, we're going to zoom way in. You see this 0 over here? Do you all know what that 0 is for? That 0 is for comments. It took everything I had to find an article that includes anything relevant to the High Republic. And when I did, I found an article that essentially has no interest whatsoever. Nobody's reading this stuff. Nobody cares. The Acolyte and the era that it's based on are completely dead. However, Kara, it seems to me that it's now obvious why Disney had to cancel this thing. The damage that was going to be done if they allowed it to metastasize and connect itself to the sequel trilogy, I think that they understood at some point they have to stop doing this. Every time they touch the sequel trilogy, another Star Wars fan walks away. So, Kara, do you think this is the reason that the Acolyte had to be stopped, and maybe why Kathleen Kennedy and Leslie Headland had to be kicked to the curb by Lucasfilm?
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I'm one of the people who didn't watch The Acolyte. I gave up.
Lucky you.
I gave up after Mando season 2. I got 2 episodes into Book of Boba Fett and noped out. Never watched Kenobi. I didn't watch what is it? Andor.
Andor.
Didn't watch Andor. I have watched every Star Wars movie up until I watched the 2. I watched The Force Awakens and whichever one was after that one in theaters. Well, I'd watched all of them. My first Star Wars movie in theaters was Force Awakens, and then the one after that,
Rogue One.
And then I just completely gave up. I was just bored out of my mind, and it completely went against what the original Star Wars were, in my opinion. And I'm sure a lot of people in this sphere will agree with that. And I didn't watch Star Wars because it was geared towards women. I watched it because it was entertaining and genuinely like appealing to everybody, whether you're a man or a woman or a kid or an adult, like everybody. It was appealing. Like I still remember having the VHS set that my parents had whenever I was little. So it's just one of those. I do think that Acolyte just needs to stay dead. It just needs to stay gone. The only people who will benefit from now, given I will say, the only people who will benefit from the Acolyte coming back will be the YouTubers.
Yeah.
The actual fans of Star Wars will not.
The Acolyte was an excellent case for all of us talking about something does not make it popular. That was an argument that was out there in the sphere, in the sphere to say that, oh, well, all of you talking about this is boosting it in the ratings. No, there was something interesting in maybe episode 3. I forget what it was. That was the Power of One, Power of Many episode. And I think they had, well, whatever. It doesn't matter what it was. It was what was going on in the show was interesting because all of us continued to talk about it. And then it took a nosedive in the ratings.
Well, I just want to say that as Kara was listing all the things she didn't watch, there's a small part of me that began to hate her with a passion that I have never felt before, as I remembered all those things that I did watch for this channel and for the purposes of reviewing it, and the terrible,
saved so many hours of my life,
pain that I have endured. Kara, I wish I had the fortune of you to not have suffered through some of this stuff. It's really, really
I
bad.
Didn't, because I had people like you who would watch it, and I didn't have to deal with it.
That's a good.
Thank you, Kara.
Thank you.
Oh boy, Chado, we're watching as they run from the sequel trilogy. It seems to me that's the reason they had to close this thing down, and I just wonder, Filoni was not associated with the Acolyte. He was there as an advisor, but this was really Leslie, and this was really Kathleen. They're both gone now, and I wonder if there's no reason Filoni would want to go back to this if Disney lets him have that kind of decision-making power, which there's no proof that he has that. He may be completely controlled at this point by Alan Bergman at a higher level of Disney. But Paul, would you recommend at this point for Star Wars to try to do everything they can to get away from that which destroyed them? Like, how would you advise them going forward? Should they retcon? Should they avoid? Should they just go somewhere else in the story? Like, what do you do if you have a formerly biggest franchise ever and it's in this state?
Well, there's my thoughts, and then there's I'm thinking of what their meetings would be like. They've blown through a ton of cash, right?
Amazing amount.
I think it's finally affected them. With regards to the Acolyte, I believe the rumor is that all the witch stuff came from Filoni.
Right. His wife, who is a writer for Star Wars, was formerly in a coven.
Right. And wow, you know what? That's a tough question. To be quite honest, if I was Disney and I was really interested in bringing this back to life, I would sell it to another company and let them bring fresh talent on that kind of allegedly wipes the slate and bad taste clean of everything Disney has done. I don't know how Disney could resurrect it other than bringing some heroic individual that the pop culture audience trusts to resurrect it, like Lord and Miller. Let's say we found out that Disney goes back to Lord and Miller and says, "We apologize, we're sorry, we want you to resurrect this whole thing, and you can do whatever you want." I think there would be a certain amount of trust in them, but other than that, I would say, hey, let's sell it all on a fire sale.
So we're on the exact same page, Paul. I've said they should send this off to a third party.
Yeah.
And that seems to be what they're doing with Starfighter. But Starfighter, of course, Sean Levy doing this and Ryan Gosling being brought in, that's a one-off. I think they're going to have to do this for years and years to come because of how poorly they have acquired talent or lack thereof at Lucasfilm. I've said this before. Just because you're the Chicago Bulls, you can't win championships. It's Michael Jordan. They don't have any Michael Jordans. They don't have any Scottie Pippens. They don't even have Rodmans at Lucasfilm anymore. They've emptied the house of talent. So, Paul, have you ever been in that kind of an experience before in your dealings with entertainment, where you just come into a team and you say they want it, they don't got it, and there's no changing that until we change the talent?
Well, I've been in corporate situations where it was clear that everything they did wasn't working, mainly because the people who were doing the hiring of me didn't believe in anything that anybody that they had hired previously tried to do. And the key to making that work is to drag the hierarchy kicking and screaming into supporting the plan. That's the problem. Is that a lot of people will hire change makers to change things, but the people who are making the decisions don't really give those individuals all the support they need to finish the job.
Right. Which also means they don't have the proper vision of the long term and what it is we're trying to achieve and whether or not it can be successful and what the resources are necessary to get there.
Yeah, and potentially This is what's happened to Amazon with regards to the show that we were just
Stargate.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, just to point out the history of this company, Lucasfilm. If you compare what Steven Spielberg and what George Lucas were doing, there was a singular vision. Yes, there was a collaboration underneath it. There were lots of visionaries underneath them, but there was a singular vision of what it would be. With this, there's a committee at the top. There's a producer with no taste, except for perhaps coffee, that is at the top and saying, I don't like this, go back and fix it. And we all know what that looks like when maybe we all don't know. There are people on this panel that know what that looks like when someone says, I don't like this, fix it. And they don't give you anything specific or actionable. They're not communicating on a vision level. They're communicating on a generally, change it again and I'll see if I like it. And that's how you get a $350 million Indiana Jones movie that gets beaten by Sound of Freedom. Even describing Dial of Destiny, the real insult to that film is no one is talking about that other than a, yeah, that happened kind of way. The Last Jedi was at least offensive in what it was doing in a way that we still go back to that and talk about what it was. I think Rian Johnson was given too much leeway, but it seems like it came from one vision. So in some way, yes, I'll say Last Jedi, in that it had a singular vision, was a better film than Dial of Destiny. But this entire organization of Lucasfilm is a copy of a copy of a copy. Mm-hmm. And that's just boring. The movie that we have up on screen right now is content in the most derisive way possible. It is a couple of episodes, maybe 3, of a TV show that they intentionally didn't move the needle in either direction story-wise so that people could skip it and not miss anything when they go back to watching the series, which they probably won't do.
Well, there's no more series to come, I don't believe. Nat, the reason we're talking about The Acolyte and the end of it, and it's so pathetic that they want to do a season 2, and is because Star Wars is so damaged right now. It boggles the mind that anybody would even still write an article, unless it's truly clickbait. The fact that the #1 show on Disney Plus is The Mandalorian, or it was right before Bluey. The fact that this program managed to make 250 and it's done. Like, here's the deal. It's being cut from theaters. It's being removed from screens. It's going to trickle in money from the box office from here on out, but $400 million is gone. 350 is tough. At the domestic box office, it would be extraordinarily fortunate if it can top 200 million at the domestic. I mean, this is catastrophically bad, and we still have articles out there being written about, boy, we need an Acolyte season 2. Boy, we need that.
Well, I think they don't want to lose their way, raison d'etre, or their reason of being right now that they've made up for themselves, that nobody else wants, and nobody else wants to watch. And of course, if you ask Leslie Headland if she wants to make another one, well, I would say, yeah, I want to make another one too, if it was giving me the money and the prestige, at least apparent prestige to herself, of being involved with the Star Wars property. But I agree with Paul, but I also say, just Disney, stop touching it, stop doing anything to it, because at least in my mind, the only Star Wars that exists are the prequels and the sequels. Like, nothing else in my mind, and I'm not super into it, but they're the only ones I've watched repeatedly, and then I kind of stopped caring once I saw that everybody else was complaining about it. So for a casual viewer, it's even less of an interest if you don't even want to follow the storylines that they're saying they want to put on screen, but then ruining those as well, and you're just listening to it passively, from you and from Nerdrotic, for example, that say don't even bother. Then, like Kara said, like I've lost complete interest, and they could have captured some interest if Disney did the right moves. But at this point, I just say let it be. Stop touching it.
We're still following, folks, the idea that Disney is going to branch off the sequel trilogy and let it exist in its own little place, its own little time, but make a new timeline. And I think that's the only way forward, is give the folks what they wanted for 30 years, which was Luke Skywalker as a Jedi Master. That's it. That's all that's left. I think the idea that you didn't give people what they had waited for 3 decades, probably not a great play. And it's time to give the people what they want. That's what the market wants. We're not here to tell you it's right or wrong. We're here to tell you that's what the market says. Disney, you can fight with them if you want to, but for our sakes, listen to me, Bob. Well, Bob, you're gone. Darn it. Josh, we need Acolyte season 2 here. Truly. Paul needs it. I need it. Jonas needs it. Nat needs it. Kara's not going to watch it, but we need it. Please.
That was an enjoyable, horrible experience. The Acolyte. Whereas what was the show with the witches?
Oh, Agatha, which was not so far off.
That was just horrible.
No, you're getting confused. We're not talking about the superhero lesbian witches. We're talking about the space fantasy lesbian witches.
Right.
Completely
you know what? I
different
get
show.
confused.
It's hard to keep your witches straight.
The power of one. The power of two. The power of many.
No!
Now, ascend, my son.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are on our way to the 50 Super Chat goal. We want to get there. Help us, please. It's always an invitation, never an obligation. But Jonas, also, we need to let people know about the Southeast Game Exchange that we announced last night. We are going to be appearing live for people to hang out, shake hands, and be our friends right on over in South Carolina. And that is coming up July 17th through the 19th. It's very exciting. And we will be letting people play the brand new game that's been in closed beta. Members of the channel have had access to it, but Zax will be available there where you can stack the Zax just like in Clax or Tetris. And we'll have that full game ready to go at the Southeast Game Exchange where we will be on stage presenting, but also available for people to come up and chat and meet and greet and all that kind of stuff. Jonas, it's going to be a very exciting time, eh?
Yeah, it's great. By the way, I would compare Zax to Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine myself. But yeah, I'm looking forward to going and finally meeting you in person.
Me too, Jonas. I imagine that you're a man who, with an excellent hairstyle and, you know, the gleam of a Ewan McGregor in his younger years.
Oh my. Yeah, this avatar is going to bite me in the butt one day, isn't it? Yeah,
you're a handsome man.
This is going to be a lot of fun. I think Real Life Fake Wizard is going to be there. Maybe some other content creators who you've seen on the channel, and I think Critical Drinker is also going to be at the convention. So
I think will be there. Gary's going to be there. I'll be there. There's going to be a bunch of people there.
I'll be there.
I'm hearing of this.
So, folks, come join us. We'd love to have you. This is the first of many live events we'll be doing throughout the months and years to come, but this is the first one, and we're very excited about it. We hope you get the chance to come visit us, and if not, just know that we'll be moving around the country as the months go by, so we'll find time for you, but if you get the chance, we'd love to have you join us. All right, Jonas, we've got... I forgot to say the other part of this. We will be releasing Zax into open beta with no password. Everybody can play it. We're going to be releasing that late next week, and we need you all to play the game. We need to find out how you like it and get your feedback before we go into the final product come the end of July. So we'll have that for you, folks. We'll have a code for you. You'll just be able to take a picture of the screen and instantly join the game. No download necessary. Just instantly play. It'll be great. Jonas, the Super Chats, where are we at? What do we got today?
We got one from Michael Steele for $2 Canadian. Obsession is going to outdraw Mango domestically. I love that they refuse to change that title, and so everyone's just mocking it.
Mango and guac.
Michael Steele. And Lauren Connor for $2. Which is which?
Yep.
I can't make heads or tails of the witches.
I don't know, but you better not ask him for a sandwich.
All right, folks, it's time to dive into the stock at Disney and see how they're doing. And, well, you know, it's not so swell, eh? Let's get into it. And let's see. I've got the current numbers on the Disney stock ready. Yep, not good. Okay, 3, 2, 1. All right, folks, it's the same as it was before. Back down. Poor Josh tomorrow. What's he going to do? We'll tell you in just a few. The Walt Disney stock is back below $100 again, and this, my friends, comes on the heels of lots of excitement from Wall Street for Josh D'Amaro and his team of merry execs who have essentially been sent over from Wall Street to fix things. If we go back and look at the 1 month, you can see that this stock was up at 108. That was great at 108. The rhymes are too much, pro. Drop them. But we've dropped from 108 now all the way back down to $99. If we look at this in the 1 year, you can see that under Josh D'Amaro now, unfortunately, let's see if we can get it. There we go. That's better. We're back towards the bottom. So just before Josh D'Amaro took over, Bob Iger was in a free fall and we'd hit the lowest of the lows. How low did it go? 92. But we're dropping back down again. For Disney. And I have a thought about why that might be. So let's take a look at what is killing the Disney stock. And I have a feeling, folks, that investors are starting to notice something, and the flywheel may be damaged. We'll explain what that is in just a minute. But this out of the direct by Lauren Rouse, Disney Plus's most important TV show, is officially dead. says one of the major titles seems to have run its course, marking the end of another foundational show. Of course, it's talking about Mando, the Mandalorian and Grogu. And as of recently, we've seen that there's basically nothing people care about when it comes to Marvel on Disney Plus. There's almost nothing on Disney Plus, period. It's very rare that you find it anywhere on the Nielsen charts. And I think investors are starting to say, boy, what happened to the boy brands? Of course, Simply Wall Street, hosted by Yahoo Finance, is still doing the same old of saying, well, one day my stock will come. A look at Disney valuation as shares struggle and streaming experiences drive new growth hopes. How many times have we covered this same kind of story here on the channel, folks, where they over and over again tell you what the price will be? Let's see. Where is it at in this one? We've got, scroll down, Pro. Let's see where they've got what they think it should be. Here we go. According to the most followed narrative on Disney, yeah, go with the most followed narrative. That'll be great. A fair value of about $131.50 is set against the last close of 101.41, which implies meaningful upside if those assumptions hold. Now, I don't know how many times we've come on here and told you that the analysts are telling you it's a buy, it's a buy, it's a buy, it's a buy. And every time they do this, although we're not giving any kind of financial advice, every time they do that, we go to the 5-year and we say, well, it used to be 177, and it was actually higher if we could go back 6 years and get some of the earlier months. It was 177. Today it's 99. But look at this, folks. If we go to the max, this is what's wild, because you have to understand the nature of inflation means that Disney should be up tremendously if it just held its value. Because inflation would rise the stock, it would raise it according to the inflationary rate. And yet, folks, when did Disney first hit 99.23? Okay, let's go back in time and find when was the first time they were at 99, and when was it? We got to go all the way back to about there, the beginning of 2015. This stock has been in the same place for 11 years, except for this point right here when Bob Chapek took over from Bob Iger. And then they kicked him out, and it has been in the same place that it has always been for the last 11 years. But Jonas, my thesis right now is that investors are figuring out there's a problem. I think the Star Wars thing, although most movies do not move the needle, I think this one does. And I think that they're panicked that Marvel might be next. I think they're panicked that if these movies are not performing well, it's not just movies. Star Wars and Marvel are far more than movies. It's merchandising, Jonas, and I think they're worried that all the action figures and the blankets and the diapers and everything else, all of that's in danger. What say you?
I think that all of those brands are pretty well stagnant at this point. There's a couple of things that happened in the 2015 era and onward that really affected the Disney company. The first is that Bob Iger somehow convinced everyone that the Disney company was in fact a technology company. And they are a technology company, but they're not a technology company in any of the ways that matter when you think about a technology company. Yes, they have proprietary things that they do very well with, but they're not really innovative in anything other than hospitality. And as far as hospitality goes, they're nowhere near where they used to be. So somehow they classified this company in the same conversation as Netflix, and people were seeing the same idea of growth in Disney that they actually saw with Netflix. And when they said, oh, we're going to do streaming too, and by the way, look at what we have. And the people who were making those decisions on what the stock price should be weren't really paying attention to the idea that you can't build an entire streaming service off of 4 brands. They may be mega brands, but they're just 4 brands. Those brands being Disney, Star Wars, Pixar, and what's the other one? I forget what the other one is. Doesn't matter what it is. By the way, they threw in National Geographic because I think they even acknowledged that there was nothing to put on their platform. So all of a sudden you have this explosive growth, and you have the pandemic a few years later, and all of the subscription models are hitting hard and heavy in the stock market. And then they eventually realized, oh, we have to charge money for this, but no one wants to pay that much money for something that they're not watching. I don't know what this platform would be without Bluey. This is a theme park company. and it is continuing to be valued like it is a theme park company. I don't think that I think that period in which Bob Iger, because he wanted to be the flim flam man, tried to convince them that this is a technology company, that is the worst thing that they ever could have done, and they will be damaged forever because of the positioning that Bob Iger did in order to try to move the stock price up without adding real value to this company.
Nat, one of the worst things that we see right now, for Disney at least, is that they've lost momentum within just weeks of the new CEO taking over. And that's not what you want to see. I mean, once you have a transition of power like this, what you'd like is for everybody to see, oh, well, here's change and here's progress and here's what we're doing. And instead, we're seeing the opposite. We're seeing the stock continue to drop and go back into its old pattern. And we have the analysts saying, well, you know, it's going to be back up there at 130, 140, 150. And it's like, guys, girls, this stock's been in the same spot not only for the past 4 years, but minus the blip when Chapek was in control, it's been there for 11. So I don't know what's ever going to get it out of this rut, Nat.
And I mean, seeing that stock change when Chapek came in, and now seeing that, yeah, they switched to Ziozo again, but it's not really moving the needle. And he was in charge of parks, which was their strongest bit. That was the strongest thing they had. I mean, right now you were talking about Disney moving from to being a electronic company versus what they were supposed to be. But I think what they're forgotten to be a while ago is a storytelling company. And I mean, they haven't leaned into the properties that they maybe could still lean into, but they've completely forgotten those. And then they've also tried to ruin everything else that they've acquired since. I
totally agree. And Kara, the only thing still strong, I think, with Disney is the girl brands. The girl brands are okay. Moana's okay. You know, Frozen, people still like that, which is fine. And but the boy brand stuff is just, it's on life support.
It's because the girl brands were started as girl brands, and they're trying to make the boy brands into girl brands. Like,
that's not good. We can't do that.
No. You need that separation. It's okay for boys to like boy things and girls to like girl things. And if there is a little bit of crossover, that's a bonus. It shouldn't be, it's okay to have things geared towards boys and geared towards girls.
Kara, you know the pitch.
Fine.
The pitch that Kathleen Kennedy made to Bob Iger when they did the sequel trilogy was that we can keep Star Wars, but we're going to put a female lead in it, and we'll get the girls.
Don't you know?
We'll get the girls too. So the idea was we'll get all the boys will keep buying it, but now the girls are going to want to buy it because they want to be, but that's a crazy idea, because imagine if you tried that with Barbie. Imagine if you went to Mattel right now and said, you're really strong with the girls with Barbie, but what if we made Ken be the star and we aim to get the guys to start buying Barbies? I just think it would destroy the whole franchise.
I think that would be fabulous, would be the word, and I do mean that ironically.
You Kenimal.
Now, I will say, whenever I was in Japan, I did not see very much new age Disney. Everything I saw was old age. There were some, you could tell Disney paid for the marketing out there for Mando and Grogu, but I went to a couple of different shopping centers and they had a Mando and Grogu life-size figure and some stuff over there, but nobody was looking at it. Nobody seemed interested in the movie at all because it released while I was there. And nobody that I spoke to was going to see Mando and Grogu. But I did see a lot of Lilo and Stitch stuff, a lot of Mickey Mouse. I saw a lot of Dumbo. There's so many of the old age Disney that was still very relevant. And you'd think in a city like Tokyo, where there is Tokyo Disney, you'd see a little bit more of the new age Disney being pushed, but it's not.
Were they translating those characters into styles that Japanese audiences like, or were they going with the traditional depiction of those characters like we see in America?
It's their traditional,
right? Because that's very Disney-esque, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's interesting to see people all over the world want traditional Disney. It's very interesting, and they've been refused to receive that to a large degree. Paul, the stocks are very complex, and I don't want to oversimplify this, and I worry that we have. But at the same time, when we look at the stock and where it's been and where it's going, and we try to figure out what is driving it down, I think at this point we've got baked in what's happening in the Middle East and the price of gas and oil. And, the summer is already pretty much done in terms of, investors knowing what's going to happen with reservations for the parks and that kind of thing. And so my best idea on what's driving this down at this point, rather than broader market implications, is maybe this story about Mando really is starting to shake and spook the analysts. And maybe they're saying, whoa. If this happens to Marvel, we're in trouble for the holiday seasons.
Well, I don't believe the stock is low enough.
Okay. How low would you like for it to go, Paul?
75.
And then you'll buy?
I think it's not worth more than that. I think, to me, they have such a huge institutional investment in it that the institutional investors can't afford to have it go below, or they're going to have an awful lot of clients yelling at them.
Right. The lowest it's been, I think that's the lowest, was in 2025. Maybe it was lower here. Oh, it was. It dropped to 79.33 in 2023. So you're right, Paul. It could get back there. We're not giving financial advice. One of the problems they have...
This is not worth it, and it's the fear of the massive institutional investors.
To abandon. What's partly what's causing that is it's one of the Dow 30 companies.
Yeah.
So it's an exemplar in the Dow 30.
My point. If you bring up my picture just briefly, we had talked about this, but I want to point out for my own ego that in April of 23, I did this video.
Yeah.
And this has had nothing to do with necessarily boy brands, Jesus, boy brands versus girl brands, but it was because I have experience in buyouts. The idea, the purchasing company, their corporate, not philosophy, but their culture kills off the purchased company. Always. There's very few companies that have managed to be able to dance that dance. But Disney, was, and the Helen Andrews, who talks about what happens when a corporation is run predominantly by women. Well, Disney, because I'd been to their headquarters even in the early 90s, there were more women at Disney in mid-level executive roles than in almost any studio that I can recall. And I think that had an effect on Star Wars and Pixar, because those companies were not just doing male branded content; they were run by men.
Right. It was masculine throughout, and
masculine top to bottom, and you could tell that a lot of the projects had that kind of masculine vibe. Whether it was Monsters Inc. or not, that women couldn't come up with that.
Well, and in fairness, Paul, if I were to show up for a Frozen 3 or Frozen 4, project and check out what they're doing on the movie, if I see 80% guys, I'm going to say,
yeah,
what are we doing here?
Yeah,
why are you here?
And it's perfectly correct. So the corporate culture of Disney, its culture is what ate Lucasfilm and
right,
and all the other ones. Now, it didn't hurt that they put Kathleen Kennedy in charge of Lucasfilm. If they had a more competent individual, I don't care who, what stripe they were, then things might have been different. But I think they were happy to have Kathleen Kennedy there. They were able to trumpet a female executive of that level to the rest of Hollywood, and the kind of power that she was able to wield. That gave them some bonus points. But
well, we also want to give credit to Chris Gore, who has called this, when it comes to Star Wars, he said it's the most costly mistake in cinematic history. And this is one of those aspects. It's just one of them. He's really talked about switching Star Wars to a girl brand was the biggest financial downer for Disney. If you look at the cost, the opportunity cost loss, it's got to be in the tens of billions. But Chris Gore says...
But you have to understand, Disney at the time, I don't believe, was thinking of converting. That was not a conscious effort. It's just the way they thought.
Right. So Chris Gore says everyone who is a Star Wars fan wanted Han, Luke, and Leia to reunite for another adventure. This is perhaps the worst mistake in cinema history and costly too. This one decision destroyed the franchise. And I'm going to add to this. It's not just, and this has, folks, we're talking stock right now because this is what we see. This is the result of these kinds of decisions. This actually has major impact. It's not just that they didn't give the fans what they wanted. And then I think they also started doing the same thing with Marvel. It's not just that they didn't give you Luke, Leia, Han all together heroic with, capitalizing on their happy ending. It's that they systematically killed them. They emasculated them. They destroyed them. They turned them into failures. And then they systematically murdered your favorite characters one by one in the trilogy. You could not make this up for how badly, nobody in their right mind would ever say, that's what we're going to do. Let's buy this for $4 billion and let's just kill the characters like in a slaughterhouse, a Star Wars slaughterhouse.
It just occurred to me that the upgrade that they did on, because they can't respect a princess, Leia, they had to make her into a general. Well, that general apparently allowed the First Order to pop up in the middle of everything. So
she's a failed general.
They made Han Solo a deadbeat dad and a smuggler. They made Luke into the worst Jedi ever, and they made Leia into the worst general ever.
But they did get baby Yoda, Grogu, who's cute. How's that for saving Star Wars?
They popped Hello Kitty into an episode of Star Wars. And I'll tell you what, they will continue to sell Hello Kitty merchandise. Sorry, Baby Grogu merchandise. That was not intentional.
They won't continue to sell it. It's done. It's discounted. We covered this last night.
People who don't care at all about Star Wars, that just want the little cutesy icon, will continue to buy. Just like, okay, Stitch actually has a personality. This is a prop. This is a toy. It is essentially, they're carrying around a toy through 3 seasons in a movie of this show.
He's already on clearance. Wizard was showing us this the other night. It's the baby Grogu stuff is on clearance. I think the allure of the ripoff of Gizmo is I think it's gone. I think people now know this is not cool anymore, and they just didn't do anything with it. So there you go, folks. Tanking the stock, tanking the franchises, and the analysts may now be saying, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! What you doing with my boy brands, Disney? What you doing with my boy brands?" All right, Jonas, let's see what the superstars have to say.
All right, let's get it. First of all, Teddy D gifted 20 WDW Pro memberships.
Whoa. Wait a minute now. That's 2 20s. Is he 40D now?
Yes. Well, he's on his way to 50D.
I believe in him.
Oh, here we go. It's time to party. It's time to live it up.
Every time a membership is gifted, a content creator gets his wings.
Is that gendered language?
We're not at Magic Kingdom, Dad.
Culture Casino, good to see you, Culture, for $5. Lauren Connor as our very own chicken jockey.
Hey!
He eats them.
Just don't make a mess in the studio.
Yep. Archer Merchant for $5. Mexican Iron Man could have made more selling his Disney stock to then short the Disney drops that happen every time it goes up, probably. But I'm no broker. We try not to bring up his investment in the Disney company in person.
So, Paul, I don't know if you know this. We used to have a good time laughing with Mike about, how much he had lost. And then privately, he told us the real number, and we stopped joking about it. It wasn't funny anymore. All the joy was gone. He bought in at a high level for a lot of money, and I don't know that he's ever going to get it back. Mike, we love you if you're out there. We're sorry. We're sorry, Mike.
Yep. Khonshu for 140 Canadian dollars. Just imagine, after Mando Season 2, they made a movie with Luke and Grogu on a critical mission regarding the hunt for a secret dark side artifact. Grogu gets his training, receives Yoda's lightsaber. They battle a dark side user, and Din comes at the end. Easy $1 billion. But instead, they put 2 episodes of The Mandalorian into Book of Boba Fett.
And this really, I think we need to blame Bob Iger for this, and maybe Dave Filoni too. But Jonas, this is a lot of Bob. This is a lot of Bob.
I don't know what this is. Honestly, I think this is a faith in Disney Plus that they could say, you know what we're going to do? We're going to put HBO production value into the IP holding facility that they call Disney Plus. And they're just going to assume that everyone's going to show up, forgetting the fact that HBO was a full-on cable channel with an infrastructure to support it, and also incredible writers attracted to that. Whereas the control that Disney exerts over its writers mean that nothing can be elevated, because anything that gets elevated, they're going to immediately pluck that person out, put them in charge. We're going to put as many as 12 people under you, to use the Office Space reference here. I think that it's just too broken of a system for them to actually make any real changes there.
So let's roadmap this out, how this could have gone. What they could have done, if they had had the sense to do it, is they could have had Luke and Grogu do a little series. I don't know what you name it, but have him train Grogu. And
well,
yes,
we know what Disney would name it. We know exactly what Disney would name it.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we did this with Andor, Ahsoka, Skywalker, and Grogu. That is the only title for this. Luke Skywalker is the name of the series because it's IP first at this horrendous company.
So you could do that. You have Mando on his own, season 3, make it be gritty. And then what happens? So this is very simple. So you set up a thing where Grogu is the way that, Luke has to protect him at all costs, and he loses his focus on the Jedi whatever because Grogu's so powerful, blah, 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 blah. But you get to the movie time for the Mando movie that you got to make, and it could be the reuniting of Mando and Grogu because Grogu gets stolen away, Luke's trying to save him, Mando gets called in to help, and all of a sudden you've got a $1 billion movie because now people are still waiting to see, like, okay, how is this going to explain why the sequel trilogy is so bad? Like, how are we going to retcon that? Because they did away with that, and because they treated Gina the way they treated Gina, and because of all the steps they took to just eradicate any interest, that's how we're at. Mando and Grogu today has a $250 million worldwide, and we're watching to see if it breaks 300.
My biggest problem is that the management could not read the tea leaves. I could hear the groans in season 3 of Mando when Grogu showed up again.
Yep.
I mean, wasn't there a global groan? Didn't you feel it? They went,
yes.
Oh, really? You're this is what you're doing? Nah, it was dead the moment they tried to resurrect that pairing in season 3.
Right. To have a little, it's not Yoda. It's a lifeless puppet. It is a toy more than it is a puppet. And in trying to get a puppet a little plush to decide whether it wants to be evil and be a Mandalorian or be a good guy Jedi, there is nothing to that scene other than what people want to bring into it. And people that are emoting off of this kind of decision from what is essentially just a prop sitting there that cannot talk, will never talk. No chance for character development.
Well, I mean,
it is the opposite of storytelling.
Here's an old reference. You're going to love this one. Topo Gigio had more facial movements.
Topo Gigio.
Topo Gigio had more facial movements than Grogu. So you had a lifeless puppet talking to a faceless human. What an exciting combo.
How great is that? Thank you, Conch. Archer Merchant had brought up something, though, about Mexican Iron Man, and folks, we're watching as the stock is continuing to drop. You see those red numbers? Jonas, we've got an update from Mexican Iron Man on the situation.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Today is a sad day, you know. The Disney stock, it has dropped.
Oh no, really?
Yes, it's true. A very sad day.
That's terrible.
Our dear Jefe, Mexican Iron Man, has lost billions and Bob is gone. Bob is on the run.
What will happen, Abuelo?
For Bob's sake, I hope Mike never finds me.
He's a man, he's a man, he's a Mike of a man. Everyone be a fan of Mexican Iron Man.
Who made that?
All has been saved.
Oh my gosh.
Mr. K for $10 says, if you put a pew 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 to my head and told me I had to watch one of the sequel trilogy films, I would say Last Jedi, because it actually seemed like an attempt at art. It just turned out to be bad art. There's some great cinematography in there. There's some things that look real pretty, but
can I watch Rogue One instead? Is that allowed?
Yeah. Rogue One is doing a greatest hits pastiche of all the war movies that it can try to put in there.
If it's not Rogue One
or fake Vietnam, it's
if it's not Rogue One, I'm watching Force Awakens.
Yep.
I'll close my eyes and close my ears when the Han Solo thing happens because it's just so lame. But I'm not watching the other two.
Sense. In the end, there is no reason for Han Solo to say, "Yeah, go ahead and kill me," because that really is how that scene reads. Like,
yeah, and you know that because Han's like, you know what? There is a really, really unnecessarily long bridge over an abyss. We should walk out there and talk together.
They should have killed Chewbacca instead, but unfortunately, Chewbacca is one of their fluffy characters, so they never kill those. The White Snake for $5. This makes me so sad. My dad went to school with Walt. Greed and power have corrupted his dream.
Yeah. And kind of on this point, I did want to say they also kind of ruined the princesses. Like, I know a lot of people hate them and do blame the femaleness of everything and the femalification of everything, feminization of everything on the princesses. But I think when they started making them into real life characters and doing the real live action movies for them as well, they also ruined those properties as someone that really likes them.
Yeah, I'm ashamed that Jonas is a proponent of Chewbacca-cide.
I would have been better than killing Han Solo, is what I'm saying. Spring 91 Bear for $2. I'm a guy and I love 80s Care Bears.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I was going to say the Care Bear cousins are way better. Justin Moore for $10. Ahsoka goes back and stops Annie from turning. They return to Naboo and start the Grey Jedi with the twins, Maul and Talon. Is that Darth Talon? Recreate the Sith Empire. Palpatine executes Order 66, but is captured.
Well, that'd be a heck of a change, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
If that happens, can we please get the music in there from Michael Jackson since that's so popular right now? Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? And I like that with Ahsoka. I'm fully on board with that.
All right. England DG for $5 sings, it's a small stock after all. Iger came in and burned it all. Roy is angry at the fall. It's a small stock.
I think we have to sing that, Jonas. It's why it says sings. Could you perhaps bless us with your dulcet pipes?
It's a small stock. I'm having trouble with where this would start.
It's a small stock. Wait. It's a small stock after all. Iger came in and burned it all. Roy is angry at the fall. It's a small stock.
You see, that makes sense. That's it. That's good. England DG. Yeah. Doge Pal for $2. Paul, Marvel plus Pixar weren't corrupt till years later. Pixar kept its executives in place. Ed Catmull and John Lasseter was still in charge at the company.
Yeah, that's true. But then Lasseter was removed.
Mm-hmm. Which was
all this is not instant.
Probably the dumbest thing that of all the things that Bob Iger has done. Removing John Lasseter was the worst. Rule McGruffle for $5. Pro, not only did they emasculate them, but they took their masculinity as well away as well. Well, I didn't know you could make violins out of them. Tennille the 10th for $2. Glad Paul's here. Best back in my day purveyor.
Back in my day, Paul doesn't do that very often. You're not a purveyor of going back in time and saying, well, it used to be like this.
You used a Topojijo reference.
You're a very modern. That was appropriate, though. Paul is a very modern man.
That's right.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Pardon me?
Said Pepperidge Farm remembers.
We can talk about Howdy Doody time.
I do the old man yelling at clouds thing when I talk about sitcoms and how many scripts the studios commissioned, how many of them they turned into actual pilots, and then how many of them did they actually show? And I would say that, and I keep saying this, that Hollywood's demise actually can be, or its troubles can be reflected on the fact that they're no longer in regular pilot season. Pilot season is gone, and that made a lot of money for an awful lot of people and gave a lot of people work, even when their efforts didn't end up on TV. People forget about that. It's like a pilot season was like a iceberg, where you saw just the tip of the iceberg, but there was a huge industry around pilot season. That's gone. That's had an enormous effect on Hollywood that nobody talks about.
So I remember when Amazon decided that they were going to basically do their pilot season in public and allow people to vote on what was interesting. Do you remember this happening? There was a show with John Goodman in it. I think it called either Alpha House. No, there was a show called Betas, and then there was a show called Alpha House where John Goodman played he was in a house full of congressmen or something like that. If you have any memory of this whatsoever, Paul, I would love your comment on it, but it sounds like I'm just doing my usual.
I don't remember this.
I remember. I've just a vague pastiche. That's all.
Hey, Paul, are there any viable sitcoms going on right now?
Yeah,
Sheldon.
Yeah, there's all sorts.
What's
of
alive?
now?
Isn't Sheldon over?
No, they did a spinoff.
So there's going to be a very interesting show featuring Kripke from the Big Bang Theory.
Oh yeah, another spinoff from
the comic book guy.
Yes, the comic book guy. It looks like
Stuart
fun.
saves the universe.
Stuart fails to save the universe.
Yeah, Stuart fails to save the universe.
Okay, I can get behind
it.
that.
It actually looks kind of interesting.
Yeah,
it looks funny.
All
I
right,
never
well,
watched Young Sheldon, or the sisters show. Mike and Mandy, I think is their. I don't know their names.
I saw Mike and Mandy. It's really well done. It's an extremely well done show. And it's very down south, kind of rurally. It's not a city show. It's quite an honest show about a young couple trying to make things work.
I think that's George and Hannah.
I guess what I'm missing is I miss when we all could talk about the cultural zeitgeist sitcom of the day. Like there was always Friends. And I don't know if we call The Office a sitcom, but there's always been that thing, and I just don't feel it right now. I don't know what it is out there that's really capturing our attention, and you have to see it at the funniest thing ever, and I don't know what that's going to be next. I don't know what that is.
Right. It has to be, someone has to be the obsessive one to force you into it. In my world, it's kids forcing us to watch. I'm going to say Bluey to save face here, but so there are these cultural touch points that go towards the people who are that are the obsessives. They're the early adopters, and then everyone else learns there. Unfortunately, streamers don't push people towards sitcoms in the same way. It's all the older sitcoms. It's the comfort food. It's the Golden Girls. It's believe it or not, Little House on the Prairie.
And those are huge on streaming right now.
Right, because someone goes, yeah, I'm familiar enough with that. I'll have that on in the background. Or Scrubs again. Nobody wants to get into the new stuff because I feel like it all is either too short or is going to get canceled by the time you're getting into it. So, and then everything else is whatever's driving the conversation, which are these huge prestige shows. But I don't think any of these streamers actually make money on the prestige shows.
I don't know. I could use another Seinfeld.
I think everybody is more geared towards sharing anime right now than like your typical sitcom shows.
Yep, I think you're right. I think you're right.
Anime is the new sitcom.
I agree with that. Spy X Family, like, while I didn't really get into it, I'm around people who got into it. And so, sure, if we're going to talk about something, we'll talk about that. So therefore, sharing in culture, sharing in the community, I end up watching that thing. It's the obsessives that drive everything else, in my opinion. Quicksilver, though, member for 6. Filoni is suffering from Stockholm syndrome.
I'm trying to come up with a funny pun here. I've not got it yet.
Yeah.
No, he's suffering from Stockholm syndrome. There you go.
The stock is down. Teddy D has become Fitty D in this
We're gonna
show.
workshop
Thank you
that.
very much, Teddy.
Thank you, Fitty D. You know what? We'll play it again. Fitty D, we appreciate you. Thank you for keeping the lights on here in somewhere sunny, USA.
Oh, here we go. It's time to party. It's time to live it up.
We need rest. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is spongy and bruised.
Thinking Heretic for 5. So what you're telling me is Mando and Grogu couldn't host a YouTube channel?
I mean, tough for Grogu.
I'm trying to think what that would be like.
Going to be a very dry YouTube channel, considering one guy's in a helmet, the other guy can't speak.
Yeah,
Right.
It's that's a tough thing to maintain for 2 hours. Although he does take his helmet off.
Right. So the key to Mando and Grogu is other people reacting to them. It's
right.
It's all about the side characters. It's the fact that he's got to be moving on that lonesome highway. Someone needs to be there to contrast what's going on with the silent guy and the silent child, and whether or not it's some woman that he could end up in a relationship with, or it's some other guy who is trying to take care of his town. It's the contrast that's important there. Bruce Banner showing up is interesting, and the Hulk showing up is interesting, but it has to be the situation. So they removed all of that from Mando and Grogu by having no side characters, no Carl Weathers, no Cara Dune, no Cobb Vanth, and you name anything interesting about the Mandalorian and Grogu episodes, it's not in this movie. So, to Neil the 10th for 5, Acolyte merging into the sequels. That's like Hindenburg crashing into the Titanic. Sorry, the idea of watching that almost sounds like a hate crime. I think that's what they would say about you if you told them that it wasn't going to be good.
I think we need to beg for this now. I mean, honestly, it's time. We don't need to be people with hubris or pride. We just need to bow ourselves down to Disney and say, please give us Acolyte Season 2 that ties into the sequel trilogy. We need this, Josh. Please.
The Skeptic Tank. Hey, good to see you, Lester. Member for 20. Shadow, what allows a sitcom to be sustainable other than Jaleel White?
Well, a sitcom, as far as I'm concerned, always starts off as a drowning individual, and you don't always know which life preservers the audience throws towards it and towards which character. I'll give as just a simple example, Family Ties. Family Ties was going to be the starring vehicle of the mother, whose name I can't recall, and it was never going to be a Michael J. Fox show. Meredith Baxter Burney, because she was the star. She was paid the most.
What about Rachel coming out of running away from her wedding at the very beginning of Friends?
Right. So and so Michael J. Fox took over that show very quickly, and after the first 10 episodes, they were able to, because you get 10 to 13 shows approved, and then the writers could see from the reaction of the audience, oh my gosh, everyone's into Michael J. Fox. We're just going to stop writing for Meredith Baxter Burney. It's going to be the Michael J. Fox show. You could do that with network shows back in the day. So, that's one of the things that allowed sitcoms to be sustainable, other than pilot season and having such a huge volume to pick from. And also, if a show failed, you could then throw another show in January. So that's what allowed it to be sustainable, apart from the fact that you had the best writers, Larry Gelbarts, all these people who had a fantastic history of creating entertainment. So,
Paul, was it also whether or not the actors there could handle that, whether they could, the talent could say, yep, I'm going to get behind shifting this away from me having the spotlight to, this kid who's taking off, whether it was,
no one liked that.
Right. Well, nobody ever likes not winning, right? But I don't know how much, does the success sometimes depend on how well they can still be a team when that happens?
Well, I heard the Jaleel White crack, but that show was supposed to be about the mom. It was a spinoff of Perfect Strangers, and it was supposed to be about a family. and it ended up being about the nerd next door.
Yeah, I see. Yes, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, there's lots of jealousy in show business. I mean, people will take their paycheck, but they'll be quiet, at least to the general public or the press at large, as to just what a horrible experience they felt.
Right, when it was taken away from them. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, this is the ego of the business. The other thing that made sitcoms work was that they'd be 20 to 24 shows a year. So people could know that they didn't need any other work that year. You'd have a crew that was sustainable. You'd have actors that had sort of quote unquote a regular job, and they weren't worrying about doing 8 episodes on Amazon and then waiting 4 years before the next season showed up. So things have just blown up. People don't understand that Hollywood really was very much like a regular job at one point. That's gone. That's really one of the pressure points that's there. It's no longer regular work.
It's just gig.
Yeah, everything's a gig.
Yep. Let's see here. DL Racer for 5. My partner / director in Snouts, Thomas Pera, was a teen heartthrob in Little House on the Prairie as John Sanderson.
Fantastic. And again, we're celebrating everything you do, DL Racer, getting Snouts into being something that we can all enjoy. Go out there and do it, and good luck, and let us know what we can do for you.
Yep. Tyler Galansky, 300 member for 11. I do. I remember that show, Jonas. It was 2 seasons. And now I had to remember what I was referencing. Alpha House, yes,
John
with
Goodman
John Goodman. Yeah, and that was a show that presumably wouldn't have happened in that era if it weren't for Amazon, because I think John Goodman wasn't doing much television. They somehow convinced him to come back for The Connors, and then, of course, Roseanne. Well, not Roseanne. Actually, Bob Iger blew that one up. So, Dogepal for $2. Has anime ever made the streaming charts? Hope so. I think Demon Slayer has made the streaming charts.
Oh, yeah, I believe so. Demon Slayer, hugely popular. I mean, apart from, K-pop Demon Hunter was not a streaming. It was one-off, right?
Well, yeah, that's very true. I suppose we would classify that. If you start getting into like what is definitely in the anime and what is mainstream that happens to be like Asian, yes, Crunchyroll is a massive streaming service for the cost that it for them to acquire content, because they make this stuff on a shoestring budget, which also puts American animation to shame. If you look at the animation in Invincible, which is dragging a PNG across the screen, and the animation in an anime, yeah, sure, they'll cheat a little bit here. They'll not move the background much when they don't have to move the background much. But you look at the cost of Invincible versus any popular anime, and the craft of it is so much better, especially when you can think about how much it costs.
So I know that K-pop Demon Hunters is not technically an anime, but it's celebrating anime culture, and it's celebrating Korean dramas and all that kind of stuff. It is still in the charts. It is still the 6th most watched movie. The latest we have is through May 3rd, is the most recent data we have from Nielsen. Still number 6. So the fact that we don't have more animes, I think, is just proof that there's not enough anime that's being put out there for the world to consume on Western streaming services. But it's a matter of time.
There's also, I'm going to say the thing that's always unpopular. Some of it's a little weird for American audience.
Jonas, did you say the word?
Do you remember the time I came back as a vending machine?
You said the word, Jonas.
Weird.
You brought her back.
To see myself out.
Get out of here, Jonas. Skedaddle, you. And then there were 4, but guess what, folks? We got to say goodbye to one more. Kara's got to go. Kara, tell the folks out there when you will be available next here on the YouTubes.
Ooh, I'll probably be back on Sunday for Sunday Fun Day. I stream video games with Hill versus Babyface, Quarter Black Garrett, and Mr. Porkchop. Always very chaotic. A lot of yelling, and it's a lot. It's just it's a lot of fun. You never know who's going to be the problem that day. But that'll be Sunday at 1 p.m. And then after that, on Monday and Tuesday, I stream gaming on my own channel at Kara Creates. I don't know where there you go. Here on YouTube. And right now I am playing. What am I playing? I'm doing the new expansion, the new expedition in No Man's Sky. So we're going through space right now.
To space and beyond. All right, Kara, we'll catch you real soon. Thank you for being here today.
Bye, guys. Have a good one.
And folks, lest you worry, do you hear what I hear? Nat, do you hear that?
Maybe.
Folks, I think I hear not the sound of jingle bells, but maybe purple potato seeds. Are those even a thing?
Purple potatoes, fried green tomatoes, arugula. Hey, what's up?
When injustice strikes, I strike back.
Culture, casino, let's go. Culture, casino, let's go. When the EMS tries their best, drop him down, check his chest. Culture, casino, casino, culture, casino, casino. Culture, casino. Let's go, let's go. Culture, culture, casino.
When injustice strikes, I strike back.
Flame-throwing bears can't keep the man down. Bearded and burning, it's a Campione town. Kumquats and roses, snap peas and lotus, watch the jugular. Culture, casino, let's go. Culture, casino, let's go. When the EMS tries their best, strap him down, check his chest. Culture, casino, casino, culture, casino,
All right, he's here, folks. He's near and dear to your hearts. He's Culture Casino.
Hey,
Buddy?
that was the extended intro. Thank you for that.
Wow.
And for everybody in the chat that was enjoying it. Yeah, that's one that's hard to get out of your head. We've got a lot of those earwigs now on this channel, so I love it.
Earwigs, earworms. Culture, you're a man of the worms. You've told me that everybody needs worms.
Hey, you do. Yeah, you definitely do, especially red wigglers. Those are some of the best for your gardening needs.
I
You get
have
them
a
at
question.
Walmart, actually. What?
I have a question.
Yes.
When you had the one-armed bandit come up on the animation, how come it didn't come up as 3 eggplants?
I don't know, but I think that would have sent the wrong message.
It's a very manly message.
Oh,
Culture,
sure.
we've got to know more about your rogues gallery at some point.
Oh, we do. I can't wait for further development. We got to talk to Eric July. I got to get this property developed. I got to get into it. So,
all right.
I already got like a baseline story that I've been working on. So we'll see.
Well, I can't wait, based on that intro, to talk about the next story. We are finding out that there is a fully featured AI-generated film going to one of the major film festivals. And people are outraged about it. Some people are excited about it. And I can't wait to talk about it and what it means for the future of entertainment. Panel, shall we? Nat, do we have permission to launch?
We shall.
Let's go. It's here, ladies and gentlemen. AI fully featured films are now on the way. And it's starting with this one, Dreams of Violets, from Jill Goldsmith, writing about it from Deadline. She's not making it, but she's writing about it. AI-generated drama, Dreams of Violets. I apologize, Paul. Drama, Dreams of Violets, to premiere at Tribeca Festival. Here's what it says. Dreams of Violets, a feature-length narrative film completely generated by AI. In other words, there is nothing here Not a single part of this movie comes from anything other than generated AI. Will screen at the Tribeca Festival June 10th. Produced and directed by first-time filmmakers and tech entrepreneur bros Ash and Puya Kusha, the film is a fictional dramatization of events around the massacre that happened in Iran. I'm going to be careful there for YouTube algorithm reasons. Last January, international organizations have put the toll of loss of life at north of 7,000 as protests and state crackdowns unfolded amid a communications blackout. Every image and person in the film is generated using AI video tools and based on journalistic reports, photographs, and eyewitness accounts, the announcement said. The film is the first project from the Kusha's new AI-driven Prodco. Fountain O former top NBC executive Tom Rogers is executive chairman of the startup and an EP executive producer on the film. Quote, "This is a very personal story to us, having experienced brutality in Iran. The brutality that came about as a result of the January protests hit a real nerve. We wanted our first Fountain O film to be dedicated to something that we felt the world needed to know more about and understand the human toll of far better. There has been extremely little firsthand journalism on these events, and the internet has been shut down." Now, this is the kind of story that I dare say I don't think Hollywood would have much interest in pursuing right now. But wouldn't you know it, this film, which would be exceedingly difficult to make otherwise without AI, is getting downvoted with a ratio from the general public. And it's a funny number here, 666 downvotes versus 193 upvotes, 33,000 total views. We'll see what happens after it does its premiere. This is the trailer, and I'll play just a brief part of it. None of us know the rules when it comes to this stuff at all. Like, I don't know the rules. I'm not going to play the audio because I think the music may be copyrighted for it. But you can see it is photorealistic, and it is about what happened in Iran, and they've worked very hard to make it photorealistic to Tehran in a way that I think would just about be impossible unless you had hundreds of millions of dollars for your budget. Now, we're going to pause it there because it features violence, even in the trailer, and it features firearms and things that if we play it, YouTube will get mad at us, and I don't want to have a fight for my channel. So we're savvy enough to know how this works. But the trailer, folks, we recommend you go check it out. And Pamela, I'm curious your thoughts on this. Culture, we'll start with you. And what do you think about the idea that we're now making full-blown, full-feature films completely out of AI, and then also the public backlash to it? Is it fair? Is this one of those exceptions where maybe there's an argument this was the only way to make it?
Yeah, I don't think you could have done what they did any other way. I mean, again, depicting the violent acts that took place in Iran by their very own government against the people, the citizenry there. I don't think you could do this any other way. My argument is this is actually the proving ground for AI going forward, and what all else will be compared to. They had to use a smattering of tools, I believe 5 or 6 different AI tools in order for this to even be possible. And it took them a very small amount of money in a very short period of time, and they completed a full story breaking down essentially in a documentary style what was going on in the country at a time when we didn't have any true insight into it. So it's a gathering of accounts and a screen production that I think the fact that it got entry into a film festival to give you insight into what was happening in Tehran, to be fair, a 75-minute film that took them, 2 months. I'm sorry, that's impressive. And again, this is a ground-up effort by 2 brothers. So congratulations to them.
And yet at the same time, Paul, there's a backlash to this. There's a huge movement against AI in the arts. I don't sense that movement in the biotech industry. I think people want medicines that if we can research medication faster and faster with AI, people seem to be happy with that. But in the arts specifically, a lot of mistrust and a lot of anger and people feeling like this is going to displace them out of jobs, and I think it probably will. Paul, what's your read on this? And do you think that this will fall flat, or is this the beginning of a huge surge of this kind of stuff?
Well, I can't comment on the success or failure of this particular film. I think it did really badly amongst the Iranian critics. The IRGC gave it thumbs down. And
at least 600 of them, Paul.
Yes. Okay. So first of all, there's no stopping this. So part of this is, are we just going to get plain used to it?
Yes.
And we will. there is no doubt that we will get used to it just because of the sheer volume of it. We're going to be bludgeoned with it. And out of that are going to be good stories. What gives this particular trailer a leg up is that it's not portraying existing actors that are recognizable. It's not portraying existing IP. Every young person who asks me about doing something on YouTube, I tell them, number one, don't use your own money. Number two, make up your own stuff. Stop trying to work with existing IP because you're not going to own it. Make
Right.
up your own IP. So between those two things, and the people in this movie are of a faraway ethnicity, unless you're in London, England. It feels okay. My main problem is, and this is what I learned from doing my I'm a cadaver video, is that
which is my favorite.
Thank you. Which making something using AI gives it a certain taint. So right now that people don't like it provides a certain amount of inauthenticity that everyone can recognize. It's a function of, can that disappear, or will people get used to it? That I don't know.
The timing to me is interesting, because if we look at how far we've come, I'll try to get the clip. I didn't have this ready, and I should have, of Will Smith eating the spaghetti, and we all know what that is, but we'll play it just so we make sure we've got it for everybody to see. In 3 years, how far we've come is just mind-boggling. And I think about, well, if we make that kind of leap in 3 years, I've got this now. Hang on a second.
The mere fact that we've been able to go down from 6 fingers to 5, I think, is impressive.
So this is the video, and you can see AI video 1 year ago, and it's going to show you. This is why in 2023, when this came out, Hollywood looked at it and said, we have nothing to fear.
Right.
Nothing. This is nowhere even close. And you all can see this is what AI video gen looked like. But we're moving on exponentials now, right? And by the way, it says AI video now. This is actually old. The AI video now is so much better that it's ridiculous. This is actually really old. People, they were impressed with this. This is so funny that we were impressed with this a year ago or 2 years ago. So now it's just, we've come so far. I'll get an updated one. But if we make those kinds of leaps, I don't know that we can discern what's AI and what's not in 2 years. And I think also...
because they won't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the issue. I've been writing a book, actually, and I thought, okay, what can I use AI for? And what's interesting is that whenever I have a conversation with it, it generally throws back cliches that exist. But being a creative person, it'll throw up a bunch of cliches that I didn't think of. And out of those, I go, oh, I can now rewrite this idea through my lens and my sense of humor and my. Oh, and here's the updated version. That's much better. That's interesting. It's going to be this is going to be the test.
Right. Here's 2026.
Yeah. Can he eat spaghetti realistically? And they're just going to update this every single year. Will Smith spaghetti test. That looks good.
I'd eat that spaghetti.
Well, it's a little not quite al dente, but yeah, it's okay.
So as we look at this, the budget that they spent on this Dreams of Violets is $2,000.
Wow. Yeah. So now we're getting into the desktop publishing realm, where back in the day, my day, you had copy. You would buy copy at $25 an inch. And then the laser printer came out and you could do an entire page for 25 cents.
Right.
Not just one tiny inch of copy. So while the quality difference was huge, the price difference was so much greater that people just accepted laser printed output because the delta was way too great to not make use of it. That's what's going to happen with AI movies. The delta is going to be way too big.
Right.
$10 million, $2,000. How do you branch jump that gap?
Right. So now, if it costs $2,000 today, this is what's crazy, because not only is it becoming more impressive, but it's actually getting cheaper for more impressive. So it'll cost $1,000 next year, and it'll look twice as good or 4 times as good because it's actually operating on a super exponential. So Nat, if that's the case, theaters are going to be desperate to get the best storytellers to give them movies, and I think either the distributors jump on as fast as they can with the YouTubers who are winning at the box office right now, or the content creators are just going to bypass the distributors altogether and go straight to AMC, go straight to Regal and say, here's the film. I've spent $1,000. It's better than anything you've ever seen before. Put it in your theaters. And if it makes 10 million, I mean, I can't even run the math that fast on what kind of a return on investment it is, but it's astronomical. It's unlike anything we've ever seen before, on what you could get. Nat, I think this is happening next year. Like, I think by next year, this is getting into mainstream. What say you? Am I too optimistic or pessimistic, depending on how you view it?
Well, I don't know. You, as many of you here know, I'm not a huge fan of AI, and I do criticize it. And I started thinking as you all were talking about what is art? Is art the fact that it's being made by a human, or is art just a concept and we can decide what is art and it's up to the viewer? And so that got me into a loop of philosophical exploration. But then on the comparison with the YouTubers, for example, that are now smashing box offices all of a sudden, and people are surprised, but they've been training themselves for who knows how long, and been training themselves in a way to be even more efficient. And Hollywood has now become this money printing making machine. They don't even know what to do with that money, and they waste, in my opinion at least, most of it. With AI, there's a difference, I think, because especially with the younger generations, they might be getting sick and tired of it already. Maybe because I see a lot of conversation around YouTube and AI slop and being able to or not being able to have to see AI all the time on social media, and being very different from CGI, for example, because I do remember there was a backlash against CGI as well, and people saying, well, computer generated images, or we shouldn't have this, isn't filmmaking, this is there's something different, we shouldn't consider this even for awards or putting it in movies, or thinking that this is such a great thing. But now we see it completely differently. However,
and in all fairness, Nat, it destroyed traditional animation. So exactly. It did.
But
so there are pluses and minuses.
Yeah, but we didn't have this impact of CGI slop 24/7 on our phones, on our feeds, on any video we click on YouTube. We were not sure what kind of video it's going to be, if it was made by a human or not. And I know there's some YouTube is trying to kind of mitigate that a little bit, but at the same time angering the other side that does like it. So I do see a difference there with how saturated we've become with AI already, that I don't know how general audiences, and especially the younger people that are now trying to go back to the binary era where everybody's getting dumb phones and going back to older computers, and this fascination with the 90s, for example, and the 80s. I don't know how it will be received by them, because they've been confronted with it 24/7 for the past few years already.
Well, there's 2 points real quick I'd like to make. I think you're on the money here, because it's easy for people to think, well, you're either just for AI or you're against it. But the way I see this is, if AI is a tool that helps people and storytellers do more storytelling and defeat the gatekeeping system of Hollywood, that's a great thing. If we eradicate humans from storytelling and from being in entertainment, that's stupid. And that's self-annihilation. So I'm not at all in favor of that. But the other thing about this, beyond those 2 points, is that I don't see, like Paul was saying, I don't see a way around what's coming, because the U.S. and China are in a race, and the U.S. has to win, right? I mean, it just has to win in the sense of winning the race to artificial superintelligence. It's such a huge thing. And so neither side's going to back down from this. And sort of the rippling out of that race is this entertainment thing that's secondary, tertiary to what the governments and what the industry is up to, right? With the data centers and everything. The entertainment side of this, I think, helps monetize and sustain that push, this massive push that's going to happen towards artificial superintelligence. And we can all debate Skynet and is it good, is it bad, does it bring forth the age of abundance and all that sort of thing. It seems to me right now that the proponents of AI have done a tremendously awful job of selling this to the public. I think most people are very skeptical of whether it's good or bad. I think what's helping this movie, and I'd love to hear from the rest of the panel on it, I think the fact that it's about this atrocity that happened in Tehran, I think that it depicts Tehran in a way that might not be possible otherwise, especially for any kind of fair budget. I think this is the right kind of film if you wanted to make headway into gaining public support. But I don't know what you guys think about it.
Did you see Persepolis?
I did not.
Fantastic animation. I would say if this is the way they want to go, then make it animated. Make it look like rotoscope humans.
Oh, that's a good point.
And don't try to make it human, real human. I mean, we'll accept animation, and animation can be extremely emotional, as we know. I think the drive towards realism is a problem because it just, it has this uncanny valley aspect to it.
Walk me through that real quick, Paul. Let me see if we can figure out where we are on it together. So I agree with you. Like if I would prefer human actors 100 times over. What if it's human actors, but the rest of it's AI? The backgrounds, what makes it look like Tehran? Does that have an inauthenticity? You think?
I think that helps a lot. Obviously, we're green screening backgrounds of different. Even if you watch, what's the name of the dog?
Crypto?
Wishbone. If you watch Wishbone, you'll see an awful lot of green screening in there where they're adding crowds into the background, even in that fantastic show Wishbone, which someone needs to resurrect, to tell you the truth. And backgrounds are, you're walking on a green screen, but you're in Red Square. That stuff has been done for, I don't know, a decade or more. So I don't have a problem with real actors. And I don't even necessarily have a problem with the fact that, I don't know if you've used AI, but you can put real actors' photographs and short clips of real actors into your clip library and say, please use these to do your magic with. I can even put a camera move. I can put my camera on a gimbal in my kitchen and say, I don't want to use your stupid AI camera moves. I've got a camera move. I'm going to stay here, and then I'm pushing, and then I'm going to go around the actor. Even though what I've shot is in my kitchen, it will just take the camera move and do exactly what I want. So my biggest concern with AI is the laziness, which I think Nat is kind of referring to, is that we are tired of the lazy AI, where people are just saying, hey, do this for me. But if I had every single actor cast, got each one of them shot properly photographically, had a director do camera moves in it that were repeatable, I think you could probably bridge the divide.
Yeah. Culture, I know you've got something to add on that, but I do want to do a follow-up with Paul. Paul, I feel myself conflicted. I don't know if you do. You are a huge fan of technology. I know the things that you've been involved in your life, and I love technology, and I always want to be on the cutting edge, but I don't want to do stuff that eradicates the meaning of being human. Like I'm not with these technologists who think that we can just completely replicate the human conscious experience. I'm not sure that's the case. I'd love to debate them on it. But I think this is one of our first tests is, what are we going to do with this technology? Are we going to just say goodbye all actors or not? And maybe this is the path forward to live performances in theater being the thing that everybody wants to see because suddenly there's a premium.
Yeah, live is the purest form of art. The big being on as many productions as I have, I know if I've written something, half the time I'm hoping that the actor saves the crap I wrote. And you've got serendipity when you're doing when you're shooting something with real human beings, real cameramen, real dolly operators, real crane operators that you will never get in. You're just never going to get it in AI.
Right.
An actor will come up with a moment, cough in the middle of a line, trip on something, and you go, "Oh my gosh, that's the clip." You're never going to get that in AI.
There's an improvisation that's magic. This is magic. Yeah. Culture Nat, I'll give you all the final word on this one. And Nat, I want to thank you because I love that you give us things to bounce off of on the AI, because I tend to be left to my own devices. I am more optimistic, and I appreciate, because we need the dialogue on this about the dangers of it. And I think too often the Silicon Valley people who are pursuing this are not getting that pushback, and it's causing them not to understand the way the public is responding to this either.
And I might be a bit too pessimistic as well sometimes, just because I find not as much pushback as usual. But I do talk to younger people and people younger than me, and I'm not that young anymore, but I do see a general public pushback here in Mexico, for example, but also when I was over in Canada, and the younger people don't really like it as much as I see older people like it, for example, which is very interesting when I talk about AI with others and the impact of it. But on the whole authenticity thing, or the coughing in the middle of a scene, for example, and keeping that in, and being able to just catch a random moment that you couldn't tell, you'd have to tell the AI to do. I do think the effort aspect of it, and the fact that it takes effort to make a movie, and it takes craft and skill, that would be completely removed with AI. And you can't really fake it, because unless you're bringing up a crop of new people that have never really been interested in movies, most people nowadays would notice. And I think there's already, again, as we were mentioning, the backlash from younger generations that have been growing up with this since they were little almost now.
Culture, can we agree on one thing though?
Okay.
Unless Pixar changes, Pixar's cooked next year.
Oh, yeah. Bean mouth animation is probably the
cooked.
most ridiculous thing ever.
Cooked.
Yeah. And look, and a lot of that is because they've relied so heavily on the CalArts style that is infinitely repeatable, and AI, it takes no soul to recreate that. So it's not like a hand-drawn animation, which my friend Mr. Daniel Alpine out there probably not super excited that we're positive about AI, which I agree with him. We shouldn't be. But I'm gonna dive into something I think that we need not forget, which is oftentimes when a story is presented from AI, as Paul was talking about just a few moments ago, it's just cliches. It's previous tropes. It's a mishmash of regurgitated slop, and that's not storytelling. Humans still tell stories. We've had life experiences, and we know how to create a moral structure that will lead people to a conclusion. And I had the great honor of hanging out with Nat and Guy on their show talking about this in a different context. And I just
one of the best, by the way. Great conversation.
Amazing. Talk about inspired questions by the interviewers. So you guys really were great. But
thank you.
Look, what that ultimately leads to is stories without any kind of inventiveness. There's no originality. There's something new is not learned, and no growth is attained. And that's my fear with AI is you're not having substantial growth. The serendipity that comes out of the live performance when you're filming actors doing whatever it is they're doing, you aren't going to get the nuance that was conveyed in that moment because something didn't go exactly right and somebody covered for it and somebody reacted to it. And it's the reactions where I think the machine isn't going to be able to compete. The machine is going to have to be instructed on how the surrounding actors, the background actors, are going to have to react to the situation that's happening, or falling around them. I mean, we've seen a lot of flat stuff already. Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania might have been the flattest film I've ever seen, because they didn't set dress to hide the fact that they were shooting in the volume. They have a digital flat experience behind the actors, and occasionally you drop in a green screen background so that they could be some kind of
Now, wait a
CGI
minute.
added later.
Wait a minute, culture.
Mhm.
You're taking us in a totally different direction, because if you're going to bring up stuff like Ant-Man and the Wasp, or you're going to bring up Acolyte or
Well-
Agatha, you know what people are going to say?
What?
If that's what humans do, bring on the AI, baby.
Yeah, well, that's true. But when it comes to this particular story, this is one of the exceptions that I find. This piece of art, which you can decide for yourself if it's art or not. I think that was a great point by Nat. But this particular piece of art could not have been created in any other way, in any other setting, in any other time, because this is not this society that it's being presented isn't open. It's not the United States. This is not something that you're allowed to have free speech. They created a free speech argument for the censors out there to show them, okay, this is we have to do this artificially, because in a censored society, we can't deliver, some form of authenticity to this moment in time. And again, I add a lot of credit to the fact that this was done in a documentary style, even though it has a lot of dramatic license, because it inserts a character in the form of a little boy with cerebral palsy who's witnessing all of this from his window. So it's, again, when this comes to the film festival, I'll try to get my hands on a copy of it. But the fact that it's going to a festival means it's being accepted, just like Martin Scorsese and Steven Spielberg
we're gonna find out.
in AI companies. So.
We're going to find out. All eyes are on Tribeca, folks. We'll keep an eye on it. You tell us out there in the chat in the comments, what do you think about AI? Will you go see AI-made movies? Do you think that might change over the next 3 or 4 years? And we'll see. Does it get boos? Does it get cheers at Tribeca? It's a big moment in the future of Hollywood forevermore.
I know why you have come, real-life fake wizard. You are here to reclaim your family's land. Let us fight.
It's time for fake wizard, real fighting. It's time for battle so exciting.
What is this madness?
When
You shall not
enemies
pass.
are all enticing. Real fake wizard, bring the lightning. You thought thumbnails were amazing, but you didn't think he could bring down the big boss in low budget Tammerwood. He's a matcha man. We got your hands. Roundhouse kick will do the trick. Hit you with the Gandalf stick. Let's get to real life fake whiz fighting. Let's get to eye gouging and biting. There's no dignity in loss, so kick them in the jaws. Let's get to real life fake whiz fighting. Let's get to clawing and conspiring. YouTube is just for kicks. He's in the dojo, he don't miss.
Here, taste my wrath!
Let's get to real life fake whiz fighting. Let's get to eye gouging and biting. There's no dignity in loss, so kick them in the jaws. Let's get to real life fake whiz fighting. Let's get to clawing and conspiring. YouTube is just for kicks. He's in the dojo, he don't miss. Let's get to real life fake whiz fighting. Let's get to clawing and conspiring. YouTube is just for kicks. He's in the dojo, he don't miss. Let's get to real life fake whiz fighting. Let's get to real life. Let's get to real life fake whiz
You win. I know.
And that's the other way you can play this thing, is to make it as bad as it possibly can be for the purposes of humor. All right. That is the opposite of what Paul is. Paul is a genius comedian, somebody you should be subscribed to yesterday. And he is our Ewok emeritus. Ewok emeritus, we'll name him here on the channel. Paul, tell everybody what you got and where they can find you, please.
You can find me on Call Me Chatto for my entertainment stuff, and for my controversial news offerings, you can go to Appalling News, which is spelled APAULING, because I'm a comedian. Get it?
I get it. Folks, it's Call Me Chatto. Get over there and subscribe today. You'll be happy you did. And not only that, you can share it with your loved ones. They'll be happy that you have it as well, as everybody gathers around that 77-inch OLED and says, boy, Paul looks good, and he's funny too. All right, Paul, we'll catch you real soon. Thank you, sir.
I'm in a car.
You're in a car?
Well, that's one of his bits.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I thought you were doing the comedians in cars thing for a minute.
Oh, well,
all right.
He is a comedian in car.
That's right. That's right. I'll tell you what. You know what, Culture? You hop up here.
Hey, did you notice that Shooty Gatwa snuck into that clip?
Where?
He's in there right towards the beginning.
I'm not playing the whole thing again.
Okay.
By the way, we'll have an abbreviated form of that for the future. We can't do 3 minutes.
No.
Not every single time. All right, Super Chaz, Justin Moore, B3M for 5. Ahsoka changing time gives Luke, Leia, Han, and Prime. Hayden Portman returns. I think the World Between Worlds is on the way. Juliet for 2. Like, subscribe, and share. Thank you, Juliet. We appreciate everything you do for us here on the channel. Archer for 2. Anyone going to Star Wars Celebration, or will I be soloing? No, Archer. We have some folks who are going. Derek Anderson, we believe, will be there on the ground reporting. And Culture, you're going to be at D23 this year as well, reporting, right?
Yeah, I'll be the person on the ground for D23 Expo in California. So
there you go, folks. We got peeps. We got peeps, and we're proud of our peeps, I tell you. We've got Dean Krantz out there for 10. I look at the resistance to AI like that of nuclear energy or the internet. They are so afraid of it that understanding it is politically incorrect. You either love it or hate it. Understanding it, no. So I think we have to be somewhat nuanced in our approach to it. Fire, for example, is good and bad. Fire cooks your food. Fire burns down villages. Fire can be used, obviously, to sanitize. Fire can be used to torment. And so every technology we ever have always comes with a positive and negative. When it comes to AI, it's the most powerful thing I think we've ever created, and it's going to be. So I think we need to go into it with adult eyes. We need to go into it with wisdom. But we also need to go in it understanding there is no stopping it. There is a race here. The United States cannot lose to China. We do not want an AI that has been trained on communism. We want an AI that's been trained on, we hope, the infinite value of every single person and democracy and meritocracy. So we're in a race. That race is going to happen. And if we engage in that race and we try to do our best to move this into the best directions, then I think that gives us the best chance for an optimistic future. And I think a tremendous future could be very soon forthcoming. Is that fair, panel?
I am self-hushing right now because we already have multiple AIs trained on communism, Anthropic and Gemini and all this other stuff. So let's not pretend we don't already have, incredibly compromised AIs. Right
so I don't know that they're trained on communism. They're woke.
Neo-Marxism. I mean, potato.
Yeah. So the good news is that Elon has really pulled off, I think, a heck of a win with his strategy. Grok is keeping. It's the same thing we saw with X and what happened to YouTube. YouTube had to normalize again. And what we're seeing with Grok is it's forcing the other companies to normalize again, lest they lose to Grok. Now, Grok is not a frontier model yet. But when Grok 5 comes out, trained on the Colossus 2 supercomputer, it will be.
Yeah.
And they can't now rest on their laurels in the idea that they can be communist or postmodern. And the other genius thing, this is so smart, and I didn't see this one coming. They're all trained on like Reddit, and they're trained on Wikipedia.
Garbage.
And that causes them to run into situations. It kind of drives their AI mad because they run into logical fallacies with wokeism. But they're trained on woke, so they don't know what to do with that. And what Elon did to get around that, because what are you going to do? How do you train your Grok AI if the internet is filled with all of this lies and nonsense? So he invented Grokopedia. And he actually created a system to go out there and find what's true, what's false, what's woke, and weed through the propaganda and verify this stuff. And now there's this huge knowledge database in the Grokopedia. Genius move. Just a genius move. Doge Pal for 14 months. For those who want the pure human element, I think there will be a revival in live theater, concerts, crafts, etc. that cannot be easily duplicated by AI. I'll take this one step further. This is also the proof. You've heard people talk about the idea of universal high income or the complete collapsing currency. I don't think that's the case, because there will always be a scarcity of something. And as long as there's a scarcity of something, then you have to delegate the hierarchy of who gets what and, who's rich, who's poor, even if your poor are 1,000 times richer than the people we have today. There will always be a scarcity of availability when it comes to where you sit in the theater or where you are in terms of real estate. There will always be some degree of scarcity, but the live performances, I think, are going to be one of those things that people will pay a premium price for in 10 years to get that human element. And you can think about it this way. Chess is dominated by computers. No human, it doesn't matter how good you are, no human can defeat software today in chess. The best grandmasters lose in chess to computers. Nobody watches computers play chess. We still want to watch humans.
Well, because it's not impressive and it's not relatable to us. So if
That's
we
right.
can't gauge our own skill as to what someone else is able to do, then it's not impressive and it makes it way less interesting.
That's right. And I think that's why I have no doubt that human live performances in all kinds of domains and genres will continue to be the thing we focus in on. Doge Pal for 2, culture. Cal art style was originally hand-drawn.
Oh, I know. I know, but the mimicry of it in digital form is taken over. And it really does create the ugliest possible character models. So if you were trained in that, I'm sorry. A lot of you are professional artists out there. And believe me, I appreciate your craft more than you possibly know. I support independent comic creators. But I'll just tell you, we don't need more of that, and neither does Disney. Disney's CGI models based on that style they're just ugly as sin.
Christian Corralejo for 5. Did any of those successful YouTuber films use AI? We would not know, and the reason for that is because we don't know if they used AI in developing the scripts at all. I'll come back to that in just a second. I think people are also tired of always being online, subscribing to everything, and forced to have AI.
Yeah.
Maybe so. Here's what I'll tell you. Based on my knowledge of how things work online, I'm going to put it as 70, 80% of the articles you read, and it doesn't matter where you go, are at least scaffolded now with AI. The programs you use, whether it's video games or whatever, the coding was all now coded with AI. All of it. If it was made in the last 6 months, programmers now, they prompt, they know how to prompt, and the AI spits out what they prompt. So did the YouTubers use AI? My suspicion is in some way. But maybe not for generative on the screen.
Well, I think that they would get a shot list. I mean, if I were going to use AI to put something together, I would get an outline of a script. I would produce the script. I would get a shot list that would convey the story in the best possible way, including whether or not, what camera positions, what I could do, like an over the shoulder shot, those types of things. Then I would produce it from that shot list, because it's going to give me the best possible Hollywood style production. So that's if I were going to do that. I think that what Paul was just talking about is exactly what I think we're going to see AI do. But I don't think the humans will be absent from the process. I keep trying to convince people humans cannot be absent from this process, or people will not accept it. You're going to see it naturally, folks. It's going to be real.
Glade Riven for 5. Find out what AI can't do or isn't allowed to do and get good at those things. And token cost seems to be going up lately.
Yeah.
If somebody said to me, how do I get rich in the next 10 years? I'm not giving you financial advice, but let's say it's a college age person and they want to know, how do I get rich? There are 2 paths that I see as very likely to succeed. The first is, if they're so inclined, if they could be an entrepreneur. I think there's never been a time such as this to be an entrepreneur. The second thing that I would say is that if you want to go into any of the trades, plumbing, electrical work, engineering, if you wanted to go into welding, construction, I think that those are the safest jobs at the moment. I would also say, I think we will always want people in hospitals as nurses and doctors. I know there's some people believe that'll go away. I think everybody wants the human touch in those fields. So those are the places that I would recommend. And then other than that, I would say, government jobs. Good luck getting rid of those things. So, if you want to be a teacher or you want to go into the government, those are possibilities as well. Indie Shade for 5, AI must be trained to create artificial problems that challenge AI filmmakers. If Bruce the Shark had worked, Jaws would not have been as inventive.
Would be an entirely different film.
Yep. You got to work your way around things. Where are the knots? Find them. Untie them. Star Wars Politics, member for 13 months. Pro, when was your face reveal? You look so young. I like you, Star Wars Politics. You come around more often. I think I got that Paul Rudd thing going on. I think I get that John Stamos. I am
ageless.
Folks, don't be fooled by the visage. We've got some mileage here, okay? I'm not giving it away. I'm as old as my tongue and a little bit older than my teeth. But I appreciate the compliments. All right. We've got one more story. We were going to do two, but we are running way over, and I don't want to hold you all too long. But I will say, folks, we've been right at 1,000 live viewers across X and YouTube, and we appreciate every single one of you. You are the gigawatts that make everything come true. The dream to stream does not happen without you. And when I get ready to get started with these shows, I always imagine myself not in the studio here in Somewhere Sunny, USA, but rather on stage in a theater. And I always try to keep in mind that at various points of the show, across the platforms, we have anywhere from 800 to 2,000 and often beyond, but we have that kind of a crowd. And I hope, folks, you'll join me in viewing yourself as part of that crowd because we are all together in the live performance of these things. You're all out there, and you're in a community where you're seen, appreciated, heard, and frankly, we care. And so what a pleasure it is to have you all out there tuning in. We see you, we hear you, we appreciate you right here on the Pro Channel. All right, let's dive into the final story. And this is going to be one of the most controversial ones we cover. So get ready. Here we go. Folks, what if we told you that there is a movement out there across the US of A, and it is dividing, but maybe some of you would say it's a good thing. Let's talk about it right now. It's red versus blue. And it's something that may change where vacays happen in the month of June. Out of the Utah News Dispatch. I can't tell you how many times we've used the Utah News Dispatch here on the Pro Channel because I think this is the first time. Alixel Cabrera. Alixel Cabrera. You know what? I would just go with it. Utah Governor Spencer Cox steps away from Pride Month declaration, joining other Republicans, it says. Well, what's this about, folks? It says that the governor of Utah is among a wave of Republican governors across the country who have declared June something other than Pride Month, stepping away from what was a common recognition nationally since 1999. Instead, June will be Fidelity Month in the Beehive State. Dear Utah, if you would like to no longer be the Beehive State, I can tell you it's not. Well, there are better state mottos than the Beehive State. Cox has signed Pride Month declarations during the first 3 years of his tenure, asking Utahns in 2021 to encourage relevant and vital conversations about what it means to love each other, yada, yada, yada. But it goes on to say he's changed directions in recent years, declaring in June 2024 that it's a month of bridge building, and then by skipping a declaration altogether in 2025. According to this year's declaration, the document stems from an opinion poll showing that a majority of Americans no longer esteem values like faith, family, patriotism, or community involvement. It says, quote, fidelity means dedication to faith, family, and country. The declaration reads, it is imperative that we recommit ourselves to the pursuit of fidelity. However, what you need to know, folks, is this is actually something that's happening all across the United States. Other Republican governors, including Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, have also adopted the Fidelity Month Declaration. In states like Indiana and Tennessee, governors have signed declarations recognizing June as instead Nuclear Family Month. And in Alabama, Governor Kay Ivey recognized June as Strong Families Month, saying in a news release that homes led by stable parents, a mother and a father, provide children with the structure and discipline necessary to succeed. Now, what this is doing is it's making it so that people are turning to, which state is celebrating what, even in terms of where they're going for their vacations. And you might imagine, if you're someone inclined for pride or whatever that might mean to you, you're going to go to places like California, New York. But if you don't want your kids, your family exposed to some of the things that are associated with Pride Month, and we've seen naked bicycle riders, we've seen all kinds of stuff, you might not go to those kinds of states, and instead you head to Tennessee, you head to Arkansas, etc. I want to show you this too, because I think this is actually a response to the marketplace. If we go to Google Trends, I've showed this before, and I think this is where the change is happening. If we just look at Google Trends, which tracks all searches for the word pride, you can see that back in 2022, it was at its highest point. 97% is what we'll call that. Actually, I'm sorry. It actually grew all the way until 2023, where we hit the high point. But then what happened? A huge diminishment after 2024, but prior to the presidential election. So before the orange man, El Presidente Trumpo, came by, it had dropped to 77 in terms of searches. By the next year, it had dropped even further to 72. And we're paying attention to this trend that leads up to it. And we believe that for 2026, that the searches for Pride Month, the interest, which I think this reflects back societal interest, it's looking like it may be down maybe more than 30% versus where it was just 3 years ago. So I think that there's actually a change that's happening across the United States and maybe beyond, where people are not viewing Pride Month the same way. Nat, I've always thought that it's difficult to get people on board with this truly. Even the people who are supporters of the LGBT movement, and maybe they feel they have other thoughts about some of those other letters in the plus sign. But Nat, it's a lot, I think, to ask people, that mothers get one day, fathers get one day, veterans get one day, but your bedroom preference gets an entire month. And I think this might actually start, as other states start doing this, I think we're going to see a divide. And I think it's going to affect where people go in the month of June, which is, frankly, the biggest vacation month of the year. What do you think about it?
I mean, if they really want a lot of pride, they can always go to Canada. It's a whole season there now. They changed it from like a day, a week, a month.
How much?
Season. It goes all the way till September.
Wow.
So you can really get your fill if you catch my drift if you go to Canada.
Okay, so let's talk about that then. So Nat, the problem is when you carry it out to that degree, what happens is it loses all meaning and nobody pays attention anymore. Or they're so frustrated by it because it's so obviously overly done and performed that people realize, oh, wait, this is state propaganda now. Like we've actually moved, even if they're supportive. So I think it has actually a detrimental impact on the movement when you do that.
And also the corporatization, because a lot of the complaints, even from the community itself, was that, oh, now it's just a bunch of brands and a bunch of businesses that want to get in on the parade and under this and sponsoring XYZ. So it's also not like the people that most want to have Pride be a season, for example, are also not happy because now it's being used by others and used for other means. So in a way, it's not really making anybody happy at this point.
Right.
And
culture,
in Canada at least.
Culture, one of the things that I believe is destroying Pride Month, and we're very hard here, we work hard here to make sure that we don't say, what adults should do. I think adults, you all need to decide what you want to do in your own lives. We are very defensive of kids, but when it comes to grown-ups, you all decide how you want to live your lives and what you want to do. But culture, what's drying this up for Pride Month is the corporations are pulling this, and I think it's because it's reflected in the Google searches, but I think it's also reflected in the merchandise. We've seen reports that Pride merchandise is simply not selling like it did, and as a result of that, the corporations are not giving. You've also got the influence, I think, of the government cracking down on DEI initiatives. And these companies were self-rewarding themselves for investing in Pride Month because it counted towards their DEI quotas. And some of the Wall Street major funds were grading them based on their DEI initiatives. And Pride Month was part of that. So once that has gone away as an illegal act of what's the word there? Culture of discrimination. It is. It's a illegal discrimination based on bedroom preferences. Once that's happened, the corporations no longer have a financial incentive to do this. And now the Pride chapters are going bankrupt and the parades are being canceled because they don't have money for it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, Disney's learning this lesson right now because they're under investigation 3 ways to Sunday for their DEI practices, which were illegal hiring would be the and promotion and payment. So, look, people aren't as ensorcelled with this as they were way back when. In fact, I would suggest that they weren't fully engaged to begin with. I always feel like the tracking of trends is inaccurate. I think all we're acknowledging is an attention economy, and that's something that influencers know how to take advantage of. But when you look at it, people weren't engaging with it. It was part of everyday conversation because there was a battle going on, and the demonstration of the battle and the outcome happened to Target. If you want to bring it back, all before the Dylan Mulvaney thing, happened just before that. But then we ended up with people pushing back against Target.
Wait a minute. Culture. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
Do you think that the Bud Light situation and the Jaguar situation, did those weigh in on the minds of the investors at Wall Street in terms of corporate branding with this sort of thing?
Well, yeah, because people like us get on and we start talking about the fact that sales have been dragged down, that stores are, the earnings statements are being impacted. This hits them in their bottom line. And if it continues to happen year after year, and that's a trend, that's one that people will really pay attention to, not whether or not somebody says something about LGBTQ or whatnot on an article, which again, this is the other thing. You can certainly track the number of times that a given word is used, but not in what context. And that's been absent from this conversation from the very start. You can care about people having equal rights, especially if they're adults. And again, I would suggest that there was never a point after the 1990s where people didn't have fully equal rights. Sorry, I won't entertain that idea.
I'm always careful about what I say because I don't like to step into politics. People blame us for this. But they just don't understand. We're actually trying to report straight out of the middle.
Yeah.
But I'll give my personal thought on this because I think it's a little bit out of the norm. I always thought the government just needed to get out of marriages, period. I always thought that marriage is the domain of religion and faith. And I always thought the government should just give civil, next of kin, right? No, you don't even do that. Just do next of kin. If you're married in your synagogue, in your cathedral, if you're married in your local church, wherever you might be, whatever it is that means that to you. And I'm not lessening that at all. But you should then go to the courthouse in your local jurisdiction and get a next of kin document or whatever. I think that's necessary because kids are involved and because property is going to be involved. But the idea that the government ever got involved in marriage, I think, was an example of where you had this unfortunate overlap and you were always going to be at odds because even within religious faiths, they don't agree with who should be married and who should not be married. And even within heterosexual situations like the Catholic Church and their views on divorce and if you can get remarried. So I always thought this was a very dangerous thing for the government to be involved in.
I think it's also a problem because it's tied to taxes and the way taxes are structured and everything else. It should be tied to your kin. I'm with you 100%. And I don't think that there should be penalty for being married, which seems to exist in this country, which is not helping the situation. So,
boy, that's a horrible thing.
I could mix into this conversation a lot of things, places that we don't normally go, and I'm not going to.
Let's go here, Culture.
Okay. All right.
I think we're on the precipice of people deciding where they go in the summer based on what the state celebrates.
Yes.
Yeah. I think we're there. I think and this is the problem with that. So we're already at the point where people won't go to a sporting event with somebody who disagrees with them politically.
Yeah.
So we've already done that. We're already at the point where politics is now a part of what shows you watch, what channels you watch.
Yeah.
We're about to be at the point now where politics determines where you go, and we're going to have red state people traveling to red state, fun and activities, and blue state people, and the culture is continuing to separate. And I'm not saying that critically. Like, I get it because the cultures of these areas are so vastly different now, but I don't know how as a country we stay together cohesively. And maybe even we can broaden that out to the full Anglosphere. I don't know how the West stays together with such vastly different views, and the fact that we, as Nat said, Canada's celebrating veteran preferences for an entire season.
Yeah, I think that the best effort we can make is to not tolerance our way out of a unification, which is kind of what's been happening and has happened in Canada specifically. I know that Nat knows and can speak to that, but I look at the fact that I had one of the best times of my life ever about a week ago, because I traveled to a state that had all the things and did all the things that I expected and I consider to be normal.
You enjoyed Dollywood, is that right? Culture.
Part of Dollywood is amazing. It was part of the civil society. So I encountered no bad behavior from adults, no bad behavior from children. Children were being properly parented and managed in that park, whereas I frequently see that not happening very much in Disneyland. Happens a little more frequently in Florida at Disney World, but for the most part, you can tell people who, that's the other problem, is people's behavior seem to be reflected in their political sphere. And if somebody is a little bit, less engaged in civility, you're going to make assumptions, and that's a problem. And that's going to happen at a state level, as you've described here, and it's going to happen in social engagements, whether it be on social media or even on a YouTube channel. So,
Nat, what are your thoughts on the implications for Pride Month and what appears to be, and we're stating this not as a moral judgment, this is economic, and people will confuse this easily, but we're having an economic discussion right now. What are your thoughts on does this benefit the states that say we're going to switch over to something that is actually, more amenable to everybody, like what is it, Fidelity Month? I don't know. That's not a great thing for them. It's a really hard sell. Hey, come have some fun with old Fidelity Month. It's like, okay, that's not the greatest slogan ever,
but it would be an equivalency, right?
It's a good effort, but fidelity is everybody, right? You can have fidelity in any relationship. So I don't know, Nat. What do you think? Is it a net nothing burger when it comes to how this affects these states economically, or positive, negative? Where does it go?
Well, I think in a way, and as an outsider, but that has studied quite a bit about the US and knows quite a bit about how it's worked and structured, in a way, isn't that what a republic is supposed to be, where states can make their own decisions and can lead in their people and their
like many countries
government, as they see fit. So in a way, I guess it's a good solution, but I also agree with you, and you just said, Pro, we are seeing the division further deepen as we didn't have technology back then that also helped us stay divided 24/7 in the states or amongst as a country or as a society, even as the Western society. So what's the best solution? I don't know, but I guess the states that are attracting the most people, I guess we'll see after the season ends, and we'll see where did people go the most, and was, I guess, the most popular thing out there. But I'm glad people can make that decision as well, because once again, in Canada, you can't really escape it unless you go to the US.
That's right. Folks, you tell us down in the comments below in the chat, which way is this going, up or down, when it comes to how Pride Month and these other months are being handled in the month of June. We'd love to hear from you. And now we arrive at the point in time that we like to call here the end of the show. We don't like it very much, though. We would go 24 hours, nay, 25 hours, if only God would give us more time. But folks, we're inclined to give you a great finale, and here we go with you, the superstars of the show, Archer for 5, Culture. If you want a Disneyland/Disney California Adventure Pass while in town for D23, just let me know. Just promise. Don't bring your Epcot fighting behavior over here.
Hey, I promise I won't even bring the superhero costume, so you're fine. It'll be great.
Drunken Epcot culture. Bald Hoplite for $4.99. It always comes back to red versus blue. You ever wonder why we're here?
Yeah.
That's a Blood Gulch reference. Or was it coagulation? I know my Halo.
No,
All right.
I think it's Blood Gulch. I watch Red versus Blue regularly. I have signed DVDs from those folks.
They were so Rooster Teeth was so excited when Coagulation came out because they Bungie added the ability to put their guns in different places depending on
the machinima stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So boy, the memories, folks. You can make memories though right now with Nat and the Guy over on a channel that deserves you to subscribe. Nat, tell the folks out there what you're up to.
Thank you so much. So right now we're doing the push to make Alberta an independent country, and that's basically all we talk about over in Canada. But at the same time, I also wanted to really thank Culture Casino for joining us for a very, very insightful interview, and we are very honored we were able to speak with him because what he has to say is incredibly interesting, all the way from freedom to gardening.
Folks, we highly recommend. It is a phenomenal conversation. It's one you can't miss. So get over there and you'll thank us that you did. I promise. It's really, really good. I have no vested interest, so I'm just an observer right now telling you it's the kind of thing YouTube was made for. All right, folks, we got to get out of here. What's that?
Thank you for having me back again.
Oh,
here as well.
Absolutely. And Culture, will you come back one day, someday, somehow, some way?
Sure, maybe even tonight, because you know what I'm going to see in just about an hour and a half.
Well, about that, Culture, folks. Culture, are you going to do a live review? Because Pro is not going to be able to. I'm actually going to be in transit at the time and did not realize it. I'm not going to be able to do a live review. But Culture, if you would like to do a live review of Masters of the Universe, I would appreciate it. I would listen in while I am on the move.
I'm going to record a review, and I'll comment on it if invited to anybody's channel. I'm not sure. Not sure you're going to want to hear what I have to say, but I'll be honest about it. So.
Well, I do appreciate it, folks, and I wish that we could do the live review. I promised it. We try to. I feel badly about this, but I am going. There's no way I can make it happen. I have to be in another state in about 5 hours, and I've run the time. I've looked at the schedule. We thought we could use the mobile studio that Jonas referred to earlier today. Thought we could pull it off. I cannot get into the theater and get on the air at a reasonable time. And so I do apologize. It's one of those rare times I just can't make it work. But next time, folks, I don't want to be a jerk. We'll get the other ones out there. Toy Story 5, you betcha. And these other things that are coming out, we'll do our best. I will get a review on Critic List, though, so hang tight on that. Folks, it's time. We got to say goodbye. We hope you had a great time. Come by and see us again. Thank you to the more than 1,000 who joined us concurrently today. And tell your friends, tell your folks, tell your fam. Come back over here to the Pro Show where everything is always sunny. The gray skies may be high up above you, but the sunshine is always waiting to rise again.
The mainstream media just can't understand how it is we continue to do what we do. They don't realize that we are powered by you, and you are
1.21 gigawatts! 1.21 gigawatts!
Folks, we've still got decades and decades left in the can. It drives the mainstream mad.
Would it make you feel any better if you knew that what we're asking Matt here to do is a holy thing?
You see, we're on a mission from God. We're on a mission from God.
Now you're gonna put me right back in the joint.
They're not gonna catch us. We're on a mission from God.
So folks, as we always say, as we end each and every show here, and we mean it, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Every time they hit him, he stood back up again. So they hit him harder. Still, he got back to his feet. Standing man.